Well, good morning all, welcome along to the Old Classic Car channel. We were back down in Herefordshire today. It is Tuesday the 16th of June. Bidding starts, registration starts this coming Saturday and continues right the way through to the following Wednesday when the auctions begin to close off. So all the details you'll find on brightwells.com, but let's have a quick look round and see what we can see here today. The hall here, the main hall, is rammed with classic cars, vintage cars and some later modern classics, and there are lots and lots of cars outside as well, so plenty to see here today. And let's start right over here with this really intriguing little Lee Francis special. This is registered 1926. It's based on the M-Type, but clearly special body car, been done in the sporting style. BF9266, the registration number. That's actually quite a neat looking little car. I love the side exiting exhaust on it. That really does look the part. Like I said, don't forget to let me know in the comments which car or cars most appeal to you. This is actually really cool. It's a proper vintage car, 1926. Here in the UK, vintage is anything up to and including 1930 as defined by the Vintage Sports Car Club many years ago. In fact, when they were formed back in the pre-war days, and that has kind of stuck ever since then. This one, 1926, and all the proper old instrumentation, the switchgear. I love the string-bound steering wheel as well. Very Bugatti-like in its appearance. A couple of little bucket seats. So yeah, quite a bonny little car. As you may notice, I'm joined by young Harley today. He's going to give me his opinions on what car or cars most appeal to him. Look at these very lovely finned brake drums there, front and rear. Fuel tank on the back with the quick release cap on it. Very racy little number, but yeah, actually that looks better in the metal than in the photos. I think it really does look quite neat. I wasn't sure in the photos, to be honest, but seeing it here today, actually I get it. It looks really cool. The estimate on this one, 25 to 30. Harley's just trying it for size. I think he quite fancies something like this. I can't say I blame him. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's quite arms out, is it? Yeah, very neat indeed. Yep, so 25 to 30, the estimate on that one. Like I say, I'll try and feature a little bit of everything in this particular auction, but specific details you will find on the Brightwells website, because I certainly can't feature everything on this video, so I'm always going to focus on the older cars. Now we have a lovely little three-wheeler, the Morgan three-wheeler, this Jap engine car, V-twin engine hung out the front. There we go. So very bonny exposed valve gear, as you can see there. Valve springs.
Has a reverse.
Has a reverse,
yeah.
Does it?
These ones have reverse, 3-speed and reverse.
Do they? Oof, reverse gears, wow, all the modern conveniences. Wiper motor, this looks like an aftermarket fitting by the look of it, but yep, spare wheel on the tail. Probably quite a lot of storage space in the back there. Yep, plenty to keep you occupied in there. If you've seen Harley's Car Traction channel.
That's not a car, is it?
California plate, so maybe it's been stateside at some point in time, this particular car. That does look an awful lot of fun. Like I say, if you've been watching Harley's channel, you'll see he has had a couple of rides out in recent times in vintage Morgans. So yeah, that's he's got another one planned. When is your next Morgan trip? Is it this month?
We're doing Loughton.
You're doing Loughton Park, aren't you, fairly soon?
And we might do that Welsh Mountain Pass.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's certainly quite the chunk of Americana, isn't it? Bentley Continental GT. First of the E-types today, so this is a Series 2, 2+2. Series 2 have a slightly different front arrangement compared to the Series 1s with a bar that goes across the air intake. Open headlights, just on the last, like on the last of the Series 1.5s. But much bigger indicators and side lights compared to the Series 1s. This 2+2, so higher roof line, longer doors, seating in the rear compartments for small people, but arguably the most practical of all the E-types. All the Series 2s had 4.2 straight 6, and this one is in really great condition. If I have a quick peer under the wings, under the arches there, yeah, very clean indeed. Chrome wires look to be in good order as well. Manual with overdrive, this particular car. E-Type Bear. Right, we carry on. I'll look around. I'm conscious that these videos can turn out to be really quite long. Okay, now we've got a fascinating assortment of early MGs here. We start with this lovely little PA, and if you've been following the Old Classic Car channel recently, you'll know we recently bought one of these, a green example. This one is a 1935, and like our car, it is supercharged. Ours has the supercharger hung out of the front here, just like the old blower Bentleys, but sort of half scale if you like. This one has the supercharger on the side of the engine under the bonnet. But otherwise, pretty similar. There are some detail differences, but yeah, 1935, this particular car. The PAs were built from 34 to 35. Quite big brake drums on these. These were quite a sporty car for the day. Now, let's have a look. Well, the bonnet is actually open, so you've got the intake there for the supercharger arrangement. If you could just lift that up carefully for me, young man. It'd be interesting to see that, as long as it comes up simply. There we go. So there we go. There is the supercharger arrangement hung off the side of the engine. So the supercharger on our car sits out the front and is driven with a drive from the front of the crankshaft. This one is belt driven, as you can probably see just there. So yeah, everything hidden away under the bonnet. Access is a little bit tighter to your regular service items, but you can get to the plugs and everything. And yeah, very neat installation, the SU carb there, hence the air intake on the bonnet side panel to feed the carburetor there. Yeah, really neat installation. Morris Motors Limited. Because of course MG started out as being a hotted up version of regular Morris cars. Yeah, very neat indeed. You've got an SU electric pump mounted up there. Yeah, very similar to our own little PA. Ours is a 34. It's an aluminium bonnet, yeah. This has got a regular tacho. Ours is sort of a combined tacho, rev counter and speedometer. This has just the tacho, red line begins at 5.5, so they're quite a revvy engine. These little overhead cam units, cross flow as well, so quite an advanced engine for the day. And again, beautiful wood dash. The estimate on this is 25 to 27. It's a lovely looking little car. I really do like these. And it's interesting to compare it to the TC alongside, which is its somewhat younger brother.
Yeah, it's the same, just the roof frame.
Yeah, same setup, isn't it? Just a basic frame. A bit of storage there, but no tonneau cover fitted anyway. Yeah.
Doesn't it transform the front? The lights mounted lower. It makes it look so different.
Right, yeah, slightly different light arrangement, isn't it, compared to ours? More like that, yeah. Right, so we've got the PA here, so that's 35. This is altogether later, so the family resemblance, well, it's pretty clear to see. This is an MGTC, so this is late 1940s, about 48 or 1949. A slightly larger car, arguably a little bit easier to live with perhaps on a regular basis because you have got more space. You can see the difference in the size just with the two of them parked next to each other. Again, spoked wheels, that was standard fitment on the TC. But yeah, the family link. Yes, this has got a supercharger on it as well, isn't it? I'm not sure which side it is on. It might be on that side. But yeah, pretty cool to see this lineup of MGs. And not to worry, don't just leave it, it'll be alright. But there'll be a similar installation to that in the PA alongside. But as you can see, quite a lot narrower the cabin of the PA compared to the post-war TC. These cars were super popular after the war, sold in great numbers, especially abroad. These were very popular over in the US of A. Lots and lots of instrumentation.
I'd be interested to sit in this.
Yeah, pretty cool little car. Rightio, we carry on along the row, and we've got 3 MG TDs tucked away behind the raft of keys there. We've got a bright red example. So the TD was the replacement for this, the TC, so we really are going through the line of classic MGs pre and post-war. The TD somewhat later with the pressed steel wheels. Wire wheels were not the standard fitment on the TD. Other advancements, well, independent suspension on the front of the TD compared to its older brother there. but yeah, you can clearly see the family line here. We've got a beautiful black example too. All the details, estimates will be on the Brightwells website. There's still a bit of sorting out going on today, so the cars may well move around, and the information sheets will be in the windows, I'm sure, by the time official viewing begins. But yeah, really neat to see all these Abingdon classics here today. Roof down on this particular car. Let's have a quick look in just to see what the cockpit's like on these examples. So somewhat later, we've got the vinyl covered dash in these compared to the wood of the earlier cars. Right, and staying with open top British classics, we've got the little Austin Healey Frog Eye Sprite alongside. Very, very jolly looking little car. Bright yellow example, this one GSJ 744, and this was another car that was very, very popular in America. So despite Americans having a taste for big V8 powered saloons in the 50s and 60s, these little cars, they did have their own niche, and did prove to be very, very popular over there. MGBs, MGAs also, Austin Healeys, all went over to the States in huge numbers, and many of them have been repatriated in more recent times. Just a little A-Series engine under the bonnet, this one, twin carburetors, quite a sporty little ride, not fast, but a lot of fun, and a sporty little car to bomb around in. I mentioned TRs, well here we go, we've got two TR3As. This one, British Racing Green. Let's have a quick look in here. So this has got the advantage of tiny little seats in the back. I mean, you wouldn't want to be much bigger than an Action Man, but you could certainly squeeze a little people in there. Yeah, very, very popular cars again, these. Quite a torquey 4-cylinder engine under that bonnet. Same with the example alongside this one, bright red. So you've got a choice, would you go for the red one, or would you go for the green one, or would you go for the little frog eye in bright, bright yellow instead? And over here, Austin Healey 3000, I think this is a Mark II. Let's have a look on the front actually. That's usually a giveaway, yep, 3000 Mark II. Very smart two-tone example, that one. 6-cylinder engine on the bonnet. It's got these extra air vents set into the front wings. That was usually a feature of the Works rally cars, so this is a mod that's been applied to this one after it was built. Ooh, we've got the Lucas lamp covers there. They're pretty cool. But yeah, I love the interiors. As I've said many times before when looking at classic Austin Healeys, I love how on the earlier cars this just curves around and follows the curve of the top of the dash. Later cars, the Mark III had the wind-up windows, and yeah, arguably more practical. We've got a hardtop there as well. Arguably a lot more practical, but in terms of the visual appeal, I prefer these earlier cars. So yeah, what a great way to start off this video here today at Brightwells, the upcoming classic car auction, a whole gaggle of classic British sports cars. Time for the next row, and a real mixture of cars on this particular location, headed up by this post-war Rover. So this is a Rover 12 Tourer, 1948, the date of this one. Estimate 12 to 14-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. This is a P2 Tourer, so it's post-war, but the P2, the P3 will come just a little while later. The reason I know it's a P2, as well as being a little bit narrower, especially on the grille, it's badged up as the Rover 12. It's the 12 horsepower. The P3s didn't have that, they just had the model number, which was 75 typically. The bumpers are also different on the P2s. They have these flatter blades with the balance weights on the end. The P3 has a much curvier section bumper altogether, so that's how we know this is a P2. Later P2s like this one got the solid disc wheels. Earlier P2s have spoked wheels. Yeah, there we go, and the very famous Rover badge in the centre of the hubcap there. So this is the Tourer. There was also the drop head coupe, and there was the regular 6-light saloon, and the 4-window sports saloon with a lower roofline. Always very well equipped, these. I did pop along to a gathering of classic Rovers just the other day. That'll feature even in a future video. Whole collection of P2s, P3s, earlier cars, much earlier in one case, and some later P5s and P6s, so keep an eye out for that if you like your classic Rovers. This, a very handsome car, like I say, 12 to 14 Here's the estimate on this. Very swish, proper 4-seat tourer, and that would be perfect for a lovely trundle out. Great little enamel badge just in the centre of the dash there as well. Nice old radio, probably a late 50s, early 1960s radio just on the dash, but look at the beautiful, lovely leather seats there. I bet they could tell a tale or two. So where's the soft top? So presumably the soft top frame is hidden away under this lift up cover here. That's how it works, I would imagine. But there was actually a car identical to this at the Rover event that I went to just over a week ago actually. Very handsome, real quality job. Big single lamp in the front there, hooter either side. Car's yet to be fully prepped for the auction, so if you see a little bit of road grime, that'll probably be gone by the time the auction itself actually happens, because today is very much a move around and prep day for the auction here. Got a classic Saab here, modern classic. Got quite a few modern classics. I'll show some of them, and then you can always pick out the details on the website if you want to find out a bit more. HPX 956, lovely little post-war Triumph Roadster, probably an 1800. This was a contemporary of the Triumph renowned saloon, but much, much sleeker. If we just stand back and look at the proportions, huge long bonnet, stubby tail, quite compact inside. Again, these sold pretty well in America. Big, big bench seat, huge slab of wood, real quality job. Look at the beautiful fittings. That's what I love about cars up until, mainly pre-1960s. If you want real quality fittings on a 60s onwards car, you really had to go very, very upmarket. But even more affordable cars of the 50s and before were still really, really well appointed. This has the hidden away dicky seat in the back, so you just fold this forward. It's not a boot lid. Fold that backwards rather, and then there's a seat hidden away in there. You've got a little screen that pops up for the rear seat passengers as well. So yeah, pretty neat car. You can always tell a quality car when a number plate is hidden away in an illuminated glass compartment on the back. That's always a sign that you're looking at some quality. Steps there either side of the rear bumper to enable a graceful entry and exit to the dicky seat in the back, or the rumble seat as it would be called over in America. But yeah, very classy in black, and yeah, it's lovely. What a fine place to sit as you cruise around on a lovely, lovely sunny day. Right, so let's carry on over here, and wow, now this is a stunning, stunning little car. This, a little Sunbeam Alpine, lovely car, Alpine Mk1. This one from 1954, LSG 588. These were very popular in the Monte Carlo Rally, etc. in those post-war years. And very thin on the ground now. I love the louvered bonnet. Just gives a bit of a nod to its sporting pretensions. These went really, really well. Even the Sunbeam Talbot 90s that were sold at the same time. Quite a pokey little car. They went really well indeed. The estimate on this, 25 to 30. And would you take a look at that interior? Isn't that just such an eye-catching place to sit? Real beauty. Roots Group really did know how to produce a good looking interior. It's really, really tasty. If you look at the interior of sort of contemporary Humbers, Sunbeams and Singers, they all have this kind of look to them. And, very long swoopy tail as well, great colour, lovely chrome on it as well. The illuminated plinth there on the back with the Sunbeam name proudly set into it. Yeah, that really is a lovely, lovely car. It'd be fun to do a Monte Carlo Rally retrospective in something like that. Okay, presumably there's something that will be going here very, very soon. Hot rodded 32 Ford here. The 32 was the car really to hot rod in the post-war years over in America. And I've got an example here. Is this an original metal body? Is it a fiberglass copy? Sounds metal to me. Is this metal? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've got a few little scuffs there, so yeah, steel body. Yeah. I wonder what the mechanical spec of that is. It's certainly got some pretty hefty cross plies on the back. I saw a badge on the front for the VHRA, the Vintage Hot Rod Association. They do runs down at Pendine Sands and places like that. So this would be just ideal for those sort of days out. Quite a cool looking car. I love the headlamps as well. Really, really impressive pair of lamps on that one. Yeah, 32 California plate on it. Somewhat more recent, we've got a mid-1980s Jaguar XJS. This the XJSC. We've got a badge for CMC, a sticker for CMC down near Bridge North. Classic Motor Cars, very well-known restorers of Jaguars. But yeah, this is the SC. So before Jaguar brought out the full convertible version of the XJS, they came up with this. And this, sort of the roof folds now, but you are left with like a T-bar across here, very, very similar to that on the Triumph Stag. So which engine is in the SC? It's the V12 of this particular car. Yep, so there we go, XJSC, about 1985 or 86 going off that C registration. V12 power, so this would be the 5.3 all aluminium V12 on an auto gearbox. Yeah, not a bad looking car, I don't think. And alongside it we have an example of the full convertible. Right, so here we go. So like I say, the SC has the T-bar in it. This is the full convertible, so the roof folds away and there's no rollover, extra rollover bar in these. Arguably Jaguar should really have offered an open top version when the XJS first came along in 1975, but the American market was getting a bit sticky for rollover protection, all that kind of thing. So that's why Jaguar didn't offer an open top version of the XJS for quite a long time. It was the same with Triumph and the TR7. They didn't offer an open top version of the TR7 for quite some time, much to the annoyance of Mark enthusiasts in the day. Right, and on the end here, well, it wouldn't be a Brightwells classic car auction without at least one Rover P4 here, and we've got this lovely green example here. This one, the Rover 100. There'll be a 6-cylinder engine hiding away under there. And these are really lovely cars, beautifully appointed. 445 AOA, the original registration number. And let's have a quick peer inside. Let's check out the interior of this lovely Rover, because these are just lovely places to sit. Look at that, real quality job, all the wood door cappings, that kind of thing. Lovely. There's the handbrake. Smell of leather wafting out as I've opened the door. Looks like the original seating, very good condition actually. Lovely headlining too. Yeah, it really is pretty swanky. Nice clean carpets, properly bound carpets, you'll note. Yeah. What a cracking looking car that is. What, on this?
3.5 to 4. Oh no, different one, sorry. There's a couple of them.
Oh, right. Holly was just going to look up the estimate on this one. Not quite sure what the estimate is, but be in the mid-thousands, I would have thought. Yeah, good looking car. Very distinctive with those rear hinged back doors as well. That was a feature of all the Rover P4s. Most of the P4s had aluminium door skins. Later cars they went to steel and they rusted as you would expect. But I imagine at this age this would be one of the aluminium door skinned cars. No reserve apparently on this one. Lot 20. There we go. Lot 25. No reserve.
I'll buy it.
So you're going to buy it, are you?
I do.
Yeah, well, it would suit you, wouldn't it?
I might register.
You're tempted to register, are you? Oh, this could be dangerous, and you bringing him along could be a problem. But yeah, actually, if you're going to buy a P4, you could do a lot worse than this one. It really is a jolly, tidy car. There's the famous Viking head on the front of the Rover there. Got some classic two-wheelers behind the Rover P4 here. We'll just have a quick look at them. Little Barney, little Honda. So what date would that be? Early 70s, do you reckon? Still got the facility for having the number on the front mudguard there. BSA Trials bike. Yeah, complete with sidecar, no less. And propped up against it, another Beezer, this time a BSA Bantam. Yeah, nice. Early ones were 125s. I'm not sure if this is a 125 or the later 175, but I'm guessing this is a 125. I know the early ones typically seem to be painted green with green wheels. This one black with black rims. Yeah, looks pretty tidy. What's the tax disc on it? It's got a 1950 tax disc on it there. Looks like an original one as well. CCH 557. CCH 557. So yeah.
150 figure.
Oh, is it 150? Is it? Right, fair enough. Is it? Does it say on the back? Does it? Oh yeah, there we go.
Slight clue.
Yeah, there's a slight hint there. Right, so it's a 150. So the original ones are 125s. Later ones are 175. This is a 150, and very cool it is too. It's a lovely little thing actually. What have we got over here? I spy some 2-gallon petrol cans up there. A Rally chopper. That's one of the later ones, isn't it? Without the gear shift on the cross tubes there. A little bike there, the Trent, Rally Trent Sports. A Vespa alongside, a Piaggio Vespa. I have no idea what this little Lego car is. Answers on the postcard, please. I don't know what that is, but it looks like a bit of a giggle.
That's actually great.
There's a lot of information about this incredible little machine on the website. That's worth having a read about, because I quite fancy something like that, to be honest. Hey? Do you not like that? No?
No, it's funny. It's hilarious, isn't it?
It's a cool little thing. Yeah, it'd be great to take that to a show, wouldn't it?
We haven't got the pickup anymore.
No.
So you'd have to drive it.
Yeah, it would have fitted in the back of the pickup actually, wouldn't it? Still, never mind. AJ Stevens alongside. Got a bit of memorabilia as well. Right, anyway, we will get back to the cars imminently. Got a Greaves Scrambler, as we used to know them as, motocross bike, as they're probably called now. Honda Super Sport, not sure what that is. So what's this, an Indian? Yeah, the detailing on these old Indians is pretty wild. Look at that lamp on the mudguard there. Yeah, some pretty hefty front forks on there. Crikey. Yeah. Big saddle for the perhaps for the larger rear end. But yeah, very, very comfortable looking machine. What is this? It's got a twin. Looks a bit like a BMW engine, but I imagine it's probably a copy of a BMW engine. Are there any clues on here?
Might be Eastern.
Yeah, it looks like Eastern European or Russian, perhaps. Pretty neat. Right, so let's get back to cars anyway. You like that Fiat 500? Born a little example of the Nuovo 500.
6.5 to 7.5.
So what's this, on an L? It's about 72-ish. How much, sorry?
6.5 to 7.5.
6.5 to 7,500 pounds. Super little car. Seating for 4 people. You can squeeze 4 people in there, and you've got the factory roof, opening roof.
It's nice and genuine, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty easy to get at things. So you've got the tiny little Dizzy there, obviously twin cylinders. There's the fuel pump, nice and easy to get at as well. Yeah, dinky little engine. Yeah,
Never seen a smaller rocket cover.
Yes, it's a very, very neat little car. Produced for many, many years indeed. Rightio, let's get back to the main rows. We've got an A registration Metro 1.3 automatic. So this is a relatively upmarket one. I like the sticker in the back window and the AA relay sticker. Yes, good old mini Metro. I remember Mum had a little Metro. Hers was a manual. This is an automatic. Needs a little bit of air in the back tyre. I'm sure it'll be attended to imminently. Let's go here. So these originally were going to replace the classic Mini, but it didn't really happen. Looks nice, I like that. Looks like very, very hard wearing trim. Oh, it's got that sort of British Leyland smell about it inside. 11,000 miles showing on the clock. That could well be original. Just look at the condition of the mats, the carpets. And these seats are pretty much like new. Headlining good. Yeah. Lots of brown plastic, as you would expect. Wind-up windows, keep-fit windows. Yeah, look at the condition of the doors, even along there. Yeah, bit of a survivor car, this one. Door shuts nicely. Right, let's carry on. Got a Merc, one of the 123 era, a W123 E-Class Mercedes-Benz left-hand drive, French registered example, pretty sudden colour, kind of like that. Not sure which version we're looking at here. Typically the ones with the sort of circular headlamps set into the rectagonal casings were like the 200s and maybe the basic 230s. I'm not sure which model this is. Hopefully it's badged up at the back. But these sort of things go on forever, petrol or diesel. They just seem to soldier on and on and on. Lovely quality car. Certificat d'assurance, there we go, 2023. So it's only recently come over to this neck of the woods. While they are solid, they can get a bit frilly around the back arches, but actually this one, from initial inspection, no build-up of mud, just feels like proper metal. So that is encouraging. Do we get a clue as to the engine? This is a 250. Right. Yeah. Very, very clean car. Look at that. Proper build quality on that one. Yeah, that's actually quite a cool car if you were thinking of dailying a sort of semi-modern, not entirely modern classic car. You could do a lot worse than one of these, probably early 1980s the date on that one. There's the Alpine, the GTA behind it. Pretty wild looking car. V6 power on that one. Very low as well. Club Alpine Renault. Sticker in the window, so yeah, clearly enthusiast owned. But you very, very rarely see these out and about now. Is this one of the turbo cars? Not sure offhand, but yeah, pretty neat, very sleek and stylish cars. And we're never going to see cars like that built again, are we? So yeah, you really stand out at any classic car show that you took that to. Renault. Yeah, pretty neat, real variety of cars here today. In front of the Metro, Sunbeam here, metallic blue Alpine. So what are those? Are they Revolution wheels? They look like it, don't they? Does it say? Oh, there we go, Revolution. Yeah, Alpine, so yeah, bit of a work in progress I think, probably a few little jobs to do. It's got the hard top. I think this is the GT, so this came with the hardtop as standard and the rear seats, but no folding roof if it is the GT. Obviously you've got the regular Alpines which have got the folding soft top or the hardtop. These with the extra seats in the back, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that that is the GT. So the roof lifts off, but you just have to pick your weather. I've got a Bantam based trials bike here, so this one's been refinished in the old green of the first BSA Bantams. BSA Bantam Super. So that looks like a bit of a giggle, but yeah, surrounded by wonderful cars. There's lots of classic cars, more pre-war car action just over the back there, so we'll get round to that shortly. Another P4 here, so what's this one? Another Rover 100. Is this the one that's 3.5?
Yeah, I got
mixed 4.5. Yeah, right. So again, big chunk of car for the money. Proper British classic, that one. Quite like that. There's the badge there. Can't quite see what that used to say. AA badge. Yeah, there's a bit of info in the window of this one. So it's a 1961. It's got some paperwork with it, V5C, etc. Straight 6 engine. course, if there's any cars that appeal to you here, people in the office here at Brightwells, they'll have all the information with regard to logbooks, history, documentation, running status, all that kind of thing. And usually they have videos on their website of the cars being driven around the car park behind. So yeah, have a look at that if there's a car that appeals to you, and get down to one of the viewing days, because there's no substitute for actually viewing a car in person yourself. Don't take my word for anything, whether it's nice or not. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. But yeah, a couple of viewing days I think are scheduled fairly soon. But yeah, interesting to see two of these classic Rover P4s here today. Right, let's keep going, keep the momentum up. We go past a couple of seats and a hard top for a TR6, I think. Is there a blue TR6 nearby? Can't see one, but I think that's what it's off. Right, we have MGB GT. Yeah, it's a very sharp looking car. These were announced late in 1965 at the motor show, ready for the 1966 season. Prior to that, MGBs had only been available in roadster open top form. Little sticker there. But yeah, this has got the recessed front grille, the same as Dad's MGB. So they didn't stick with these grilles for very long. But yeah, the recessed front grille. Some cars have had theirs replaced by the more traditional vertically chrome slatted grilles, but it's neat to see this one still with its original recessed grille. Looks to be pretty tidy actually. Always have a good look at the seams where the front wings join the scuttle. You want to see nice clean paint around there, no sign of bubbling. Same on the rear here. You always want to have a look there. There's a few bits in the back, so I've got a few spares and books and manuals and things, so always handy. You can never have too many bits on the shelf when you're buying a classic car. Let's carry on. So we've got a Staffordshire registered Aston Martin DB9 here. Very swish indeed. Got a stylish bit of wood in the centre of the dashboard. Right, and next to it we've got an early 1980s Mercedes-Benz SL, an R107 era of Merc SL, big heavy lift-off hardtop. On this particular car, this one's also got a period rear spoiler on it. So this, the 380 SL, 6-cylinder car, auto box, super clean, proper hard wearing interiors in Mercedes-Benz of this age. Quite a large steering wheel, that was the typical feature of Mercs from these days, early 1980s. Yeah, handsome car, like a sort of creamy off-white colour, this particular example. Neat. We've got a Nissan Figaro alongside. So this was a retro car produced by Nissan back in the 1990s, based on the running gear of the Nissan Micra. Quite a cool little retro car. We've got a hardtop here, which I think is off the MGTF alongside. So I'll just sneak around there. Auto box. Just a fun little car with the opening roof. I say very, very retro in style. Somewhat preferable to the Nissan Micra on which it was based, I would suggest. Yes, I get agreement on that. MGTF alongside here. So this was the updated version of the MGF, but with simpler suspension compared to the previous car. The little K-Series engine, mid-mounted behind the seats, hidden away down there. Rival, of course, to the MX-5, an example of which I've got at home, currently in pieces. E30 BMW 318i. Now let's have a look. Tyson Son of Dorchester, so the original supplying dealer, presumably. 4-door E30. Nice to see one on the old plastic trims. So many of these have got alloy wheels. Bit of metal moth has been in the vicinity of this one, so there's a few little jobs to do, possibly. Manual box as well. Yeah. Like a silvery grey sort of colour. yeah, certainly wouldn't take too much to fix that one up. There we go, 1991 318i. Over here we've got a classic Hillman Imp, about 1971ish, the date on this, if the K registration is anything to go by. So yeah, these were assembled up at the all-new Linwood factory up in Scotland. This was a government-inspired idea to get some employment up in Scotland, so body shells were shipped up to Scotland, assembled up there, and then brought back down. This one, quite a bonny example. Like I say, early 1970s, the date of this one. This was Roots Group's rival, really, to the Mini. Arguably, probably a bit more advanced, even the Mini. And the little engine stuck away in the tail here. Interesting feature is this lift-up rear window. Not something you see on the Mini. Yes, quite sporty little cars. These can be made to go very, very well indeed. And of course, there were the fastback versions, the Sunbeams, the Singers. Yeah, quite a cool little car. Have you ever owned a Hillman Imp? Do you own one now, perhaps? It was always interesting to read your thoughts and comments about the cars that feature in these particular videos. Let's have a quick look in here. Pretty clean, pretty original. All looks very, very original in there. Doesn't look cut about and modified. You know, often you look at old cars and holes have been cut in dashboards for gauges and radios and other such frivolities. But this one looks to be pretty much right.
This steering is great.
Yeah, this is a very, 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 very 1970s steering wheel, isn't it? But yeah, pretty cool. And talking of pretty cool, look at this here. People with good memories will remember we used to have a classic Renault, a little Renault 750 or 4CV. This is the slightly later Renault Dauphine. In particular, this is a Gordini edition of the Renault Dauphine. No shortage of rally stickers on this one. 1960, that is the date of this particular car, and well, it certainly is quite an eye-catching little number indeed. Let's just go around the front here. Yep, 1960 is the date for this particular car. Clearly gets used on a few club rallies.
I had one of those in the box.
Yeah, you had one of those, didn't you? Marshall.
Two, actually, I should say.
Yeah. Pretty eye-catching car. Lovely period roof rack as well. I do like that. Estimate on this, £7,500 to £9,500. Pretty cool, these little Renault Dauphine Gordinis. Some of them had like wire wheels. Some of them have the steel wheels, like you see here. Engine in the tail, just like the 4CV that came before. Some pretty tasty Corello lamps up top, I like those. We've got some Marshalls down below as well, the French Marshall lamps. Renault Régie Nationale France. Yeah. Pretty neat car. No, Harley's a big fan of Renault Dauphines. And yeah. The sunroof is, not the sunroof, the roof rack rather, that is just the icing on the cake. Next to that, well, we were looking at the Hillman Imp just a moment ago, and here we have BMC's rival to it, this a 1966 registered Austin Mini Cooper S. I think this could be a recreation. I know there is a recreation of a Cooper S here today. It may be this car, if not, well, I apologise, but like I say, all the details will be on the website. But it's a pretty cool car. BMC Special Tuning Division stickers on the front wing there, Broad Speed Engineering. It's just a super duper looking little car. It's got the full cage in it as well, so presumably this one gets used for a bit of club competition, maybe a bit of classic rallying, certainly many gauges. Got the timing gear over there. Very supportive bucket seats. Yeah, tacho right in front of the driver there. Pretty cool. Mark 1 Mini, quite a late Mark 1 on a 66 registration number. Yeah, nice. Hereford Mini Specialists. That sticker's been there quite a while by the look of it. Twin tanks. Yeah, very bonny car. But these are the Group 2 arches, the wheel arch extensions. I think they probably are. But yeah, quite the lineup of cars here today at Brightwells. Right, now we're going to go and continue. We've done the MGs over the way there, So let's carry on and see what's in the next row, which appears to be populated by quite a few classic Fords. So heading up this gaggle of classic Fords, we have this great little Mk1 Escort twin cam, complete with 4 pretty tasty Y-pack lamps on the front. This one looks like it means business, very deep dished steel wheels on it as well. Yeah, very, very neat indeed. Windows open so we can have a quick peer inside. And again, lots of extra instrumentation. So maybe this one gets used for a bit of clubby rallying as well. Lotus steering wheel. So this is a replica, is it?
16 to 18.
16 to 18, the estimate
It looks great
on this car. But yeah, it's a pretty cool looking car. 2-door Escort. Yeah, very clean indeed. Let's have a quick look under the wheel arches. Yeah. I see pretty clean paint under there. That's usually a good sign. Yeah,
I mean,
it certainly looks the part, doesn't it?
40, 50
Yeah,
I don't know whether it has the right engine in it.
yeah. I'm not sure what engine's in there,
The
but
wheels just look great.
it does look the part, doesn't it? Yeah, pretty neat. Alongside that, circa 1979 RS2000 here, with the droop snoot, the slopey front on it, which was unique to this particular model. Got the RS alloys, the fishnet headrests on the seat, probably can't quite see there. Yeah, RS2000 transfers, the stickers on the side, metal plates, so about 1979, so fairly late for a Mk2 Escort. Again, 2-door car, glass sunroof in it, yeah, RS steering wheel, so that's all as you would expect. So we've got Mk1 Escort there, Mk2 Escort alongside, and now we have the Mk3, this one on an A plate, so what's that, about 82, 83, something like that. Now is this an XR3 or is it the XR3i? Hopefully the stickers on the back will tell us. Right, so this is the XR3i. So when the sporty Mk3 Escort came out, you had the XR3 on the carburettor, then this, the fuel injected car, came along very, very soon after. I love the period Goodman's stickers on the rear parcel shelf. That is such a period upgrade, modification. The spoiler on the back certainly suits it. Telephone dial alloy wheels, they were standard fit on the XR3i's of the time. I well remember those. I remember my English teacher had one of these brand new in the 1980s. Yeah, pretty cool. So front wheel drive, the earlier Escorts rear wheel drive of course. These were the first of the front wheel drive Ford Escorts, this the Mk3. Somewhat later Escort alongside over here. This is the Mk6. Cabriolet form as well. Very, very distinctive sort of damson colour. And some pretty jazzy interior trim as well. It looks to be in good nick. 5-speed box plus reverse. Looks very, very clean and tidy actually. Plenty of room in the back as well. So yeah. Let's have a look around the back, see if there's any extra info that we can glean. 16 valve, yep. Yeah. Pretty tidy example of a late Escort in open top form. We're going slightly older now with this particular Ford, the Ford Capri Mk1, about 1971 or thereabouts the date of this particular car. Great colour as well. A January 70 tax disc in the window there. Yeah, pretty sleek as well. Let's just go back and have a look at that. So the car you always promise yourself, they used to say in the adverts for these when they first came out. I think the idea was this was going to be like a British Mustang almost. A sporty coupe. I like these earlier cars with the slimmer backlights. The later Mark ones had much chunkier rear lights, but I think these look way, way better. I like the rear window louver by Autoplas. So yeah, that was a fairly common fitment back in the 70s and the 1980s to your sporting car, but actually really great lines. It's been a while since I've had a close look at a Mark 1 Capri. So yeah, really cool. This one, auto box, that must be quite unusual I would have thought. 2000 GT automatic. So yeah, that must be quite a rare survivor now. Yeah, looks to be very clean condition indeed. And alongside it, a much later Capri, so you can kind of see the family link, but lots and lots of differences. Of course, this has a regular boot. By this point in time, they had the lift-up rear hatchback, which was a feature introduced with the Capri 2. This is 2.8i, so V6 power. Let's just have a look around the back. So yep, so you can see this has got the full lift-up hatchback, whereas this just has the opening boot and a fixed rear window, as you can see there. So yeah, so the family link, especially from the side view, is clear to see, but otherwise very different. A lot sleeker, a lot more elongated, the rear side window in the later car compared to its much older brother. Yeah, pretty neat to see those two here together. Right, we carry on. Morris Minor Traveller, this one on a K registration. So towards the end of Morris Minor production, these very late cars typically had silver painted wheels. This one has got the old English white wheels, which you tend to see more often, to be honest, on Morris Minors, but it probably started out with silver wheels. Black trim, I think that was a feature of all the Morris Minor Travellers by this point in time, the early 1970s. This has got an earlier steering wheel on it, which looks way nicer than the original steering wheel it would have had. Back end, very similar to the earlier cars. All structural, this wood, so you want to make sure you've got good wood on the back of your Morris Minor Traveller, unless you're planning on doing a lot of woodworking. This one looks to be good in that regard. Yeah, quite a late example of the Morris Minor Traveller, and a very practical classic indeed. And staying with classic estates now, this is altogether much rarer. This, the Herald 1360, the Triumph Herald 1360 estate. Wow, that is a very unusual car indeed. Of course, the advantage with the Herald, with a separate chassis and separate, the bulkhead bolts onto the chassis, bonnet bolts on, doors, and the entire back end, the roof you can unbolt. You can see it is actually a separate panel. You can actually unbolt that. All the back end unbolts off the chassis. So it's fairly easy for standard Triumph to come up with the estate car version of the Herald using their regular Herald chassis and running gear. This will have a 1296cc engine under the bonnet. There was also the Courier van, which was basically the same shape but filled in with no windows in the rear sides. This one's got some Mini-Lite style wheels on it. Yeah, super practical car. Very airy, very roomy indeed. Yeah, pretty neat to see that one here today. So cream roof, maroon main body. Bit of moving around. There's an MG just being moved around there on a little trolley. Saves a lot of pushing. Yeah, Herald estate. Pretty unusual. It is neat, isn't it? Back to Morris Minors. I've got a G plate. Yes, Morris Minor 1000. Looks to be a pretty tidy example. Still got the jacking points under the sills. That's always a good sign. The jacking points join to the cross member that goes across there, so that's always something you have a good look at when you're planning on buying one of these.
It's 3,502.
3.5 this, isn't it, the estimate? Right. Oh, looks like a very usable little car, I think, that one. Very well supported by spares and advice, so yeah, you could do a lot worse than a Morris Minor, especially if you're thinking about buying your first classic car, because there are bits everywhere for these, new and used. Wings bolt on as well, front and rear. The Morris Minor first came out in 1948 with a side valve engine, and then the A-Series was introduced when the Series 2 came on stream in the early 1950s. This will have the 1098cc version of the A-Series engine. Looks like Trafalgar blue to me. Okay, we carry on along the row. with a BL Beauty here from the late 1970s. This, a rubber bumper MG midget with the 1500 Triumph engine in it. Same engine as fitted to the late Spitfires. I forget what this shade of blue is called, but it was available on the MGB as well. I mean, technically they're not rubber, these bumpers, but that's what they were always referred to. This can trace its roots back to the original Frog Eye Sprite of the late 1950s. But yeah, hood looks to be in good condition. Very large rear window, and you've got these little quarter windows as well set into the soft top. So, fun little car. Just a bit of vehicle movement going on behind. We'll carry on this way. Got a proper Carman converted VW convertible over here. This one on a K-plate, so early 70s. Right-hand drive. That's nice. Yeah. Proper Carman car with a big lined, proper folding roof. Properly framed door windows as well. Squared off tops to the quarter lights. Those are all signs that you're looking at a proper VW approved Carman conversion to the VW Beetle, as opposed to a home chop job, which did happen quite often. It was fairly easy to chop the roof off a VW Beetle, but it was quite tricky to do it well. These with the proper lined roofs, those are the ones to go for if you're thinking about getting an open top Beetle. Right, we carry on. Now we've got a 6 Series here, not a 635. I think this is a 633 CSI, which is a fair bit more unusual. Oh, it is a 635. I'm sure I read about a 633 the other day, but maybe it was somewhere else. Yeah, 3.5 litre straight 6 engine under the bonnet of this. That's a manual box, is it? Very flat sides on these, just like the 7 Series that were produced at the same time. But yeah, manual box in this particular one. Yeah, shark nose front. Kind of look pretty cool, I think. This was the replacement that came out in the 1970s to replace the E9s, the 2-door coupes. Yeah, good looking car. Do quite like that. It's a nice colour as well. But now I think we will turn our attentions back to much earlier times and this very tempting row of cars on the back here. Right, so we start with another classic Rover. We were looking at the P2 Tourer before, which was a 1948 registered car, and this is also 48, but maybe just a few months later. This is a P3 Series Rover 75. Like I was saying, P3s, wider car compared to the P2, and they have Rover 75 on the badge as opposed to the 12 or 13, 14, 16 horse, etc. And the much curvier section bumpers. So that tells us we're looking at a P3. This is a sports saloon, so the lower roofline, and with just 2 windows per side, so quite a lot sleeker than the regular saloons. The estimate on this one is about 5 to 7, and for that you get a real quality car. Rovers of the pre and sort of post-war years, they were beautifully put together, rear hinged front doors. Very, very stylish. Like I say, I've got a video coming out fairly soon of a Rover meeting held at a steam railway, so if you like your old British cars, keep an eye on the channel for that. Looks like the original reg, JYM628, so that's nice that that still survives on the car to which it was allocated way back in the late 1940s. Yeah, what a lovely, lovely place to be. Look at those seats. Wow. Someone was telling me just yesterday that these had a slightly modified chassis as well compared to the P2s. The P2s had a full separate chassis, but I think it was abbreviated a little bit on the P3s, but I could be wrong. But yes, I'm sure there are lots and lots of differences between the P3 and the P2, even though at first glance they look pretty much the same. Lovely Lucas lamps there, and the side lamps on top of the wings. The Rover mascot proudly on top of the big chrome radiator grille. Rover Sports register badge. But yeah, That is a lot of quality car, especially in the sports saloon, which I really like, the lower roofline of those cars. That has a lot of potential, I think, for around 5 to 6, 7, that sort of mark. Yeah, very, very nice. We carry on to pre-war times now. This is a Star. So that's quite a rare car. These were built in Wolverhampton, if I remember correctly. This is a 1931 Star Comet, a car I've never seen before. There were some interesting Stars in this auction a year or so back. I well remember filming those, but I don't remember seeing one of these before. Very, very unusual, very distinctive bonnet, the way it cuts away around the top of the radiator as well. That's quite unusual. So yeah, 1931, this particular car. Spoked wheels, quite an unusual style of body. I wonder if that was Star's own production or whether someone did that for them. Twin side mounts, so spare wheel on that side, spare wheel on this side, just set in to the front wing. Conventionally hinged doors with the little ventilators on the top. Let's just have a quick look in here. That shuts really nicely. I'll just do the classic door test, as we tend to do on any ash-framed car. And that opens and shuts really, really beautifully. Look at the seats as well there. Very, very inviting. I've got a feeling if I had a sit in there, I wouldn't want to leave. Yes, look at that. Really nice, tastefully appointed wood dash, lots and lots of instrumentation. Yeah, just lovely, lovely car. Like I say, door test, proper.
Nice, isn't it?
It is nice, yes. It is.
It's lovely.
It's growing on me. It's growing on me.
It's really sports saloon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It
Like
is.
a Jag, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, again, 4 light coachwork with just 2 windows per side. Yeah, 1931, so it's got a few years on it. I like the little, I'm not sure, I like the little door handles. They're quite neat. Windy uppy windows. Yeah, but just look at that. How well does that shut? That really is a bit of a treat. So yeah, very unusual car. Quite an unusual looking body. 4-door sports saloon. I like the Star on the top of the fuel filler cap on the back panel there.
10, I think, wasn't it? 12, 10.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was, last time I looked, I don't think there was an estimate on the website for this. It may have been updated since then.
Probably not far off.
No, no. Ooh. Next up, well, this is a car I really, really wanted to have a look at. This is a 1926 Buick Master 6. Now, regulars will know, not so long ago we bought a 1931 Buick, and we used to have a 24 Dodge, so we have been around early American cars a little bit, and this is quite a spectacular car. Big straight 6 engine under the bonnet, and the estimate of this is just 5 to 8, and on the face of it, that seems like an awful lot of car. This was, I think it's like an older restoration you'd call it. I think this was restored overseas before coming over to this country a few years ago. But it's just a wonderful thing. Buicks are quite high quality cars. They weren't quite up with Cadillac and Packard, but they weren't far off. Some nice badges on there.
It's amazing, isn't it, really?
Just look at the beautiful badge on the top of the radiator. Honeycomb radiator. Wonderful mascot with such distinctive lamps on the Buicks of this age. We went to a show the other day and there were 2 1920s Buicks there on display. Big hefty brakes on the front. Look at that, that is a proper engine, 6-cylinder overhead valve engine. Looks very similar to our straight 8, to be honest. Just a little bit smaller, but probably not much smaller. So this is the Master 6, yeah, about 4 litres, give or take. Big, heavy lump of engine. Look at the horn, I like that. That's a pretty stylish horn. So yeah, so you've got the auto-vac style of fuel delivery, which relies on engine vacuum to draw the fuel up from the tank. I think it's Stuart Warner was the American equivalent of the British auto-vac system. Yeah, what an amazing car, £5,000 estimate on this. And you've got the same style on the lamps. That is an incredible amount of car. Just wants a bit of oil on the hinge. So, yep, so this was restored, I think, possibly in South America. There's a lot of history about this car on the Brightwells website. And I've been advised to try these door handles. Wow, look at that.
Like the way it returns, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Right. Yeah,
better.
no play, no give, no wobble, no droop. Wow. Of course, at the time, fabric upholstery was seen as much more at market than leather or equivalent.
It smells nice, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Headlining is perfect. And this is the estimate on this is similar money to, say, an Austin 7 or a Morris 8. And this is just, I mean, they're great little cars in their own right, don't get me wrong, but in my eyes, this is leagues above. It's a generation older than most of your Austin 7s and Morris 8s and such like, but this is an incredible amount of car. You know, obviously I've not heard it run. I don't know what the situation is with the mechanical side of things. I've not watched the video of it running. But the doors just open and shut like the car was new. And this is a 100-year-old car. It is just mental how well that shuts. That is incredible. Let's try the back one as well, just for a bit of fun. Yeah, very, very neat indeed. Look at that. Oodles of legroom in the back, so loads of space. Looks like a few odds and ends in the back there as well. I think someone's converted this one, if I just flick that up. I think someone's converted this one to electronic ignition, so the first job I'd do with that is put it back to how it should be. You don't need all that, but yeah, what a beauty, look at that. What a car. The only thing I would do visually, I'm not so keen on the red highlights down the side. I think I'll get those done in black, or just go over those with black. But an afternoon's work, and it would look just perfect. Big fuel tank on the back, super little corner bumpers on it. The Buick there, big central lamp on the back. Yeah, fantastic, what a stately, quality looking saloon that is. Wooden wheels, very similar to those that we had on our 1920s Dodge some years ago now. Yeah, fully restored overseas at some point in time, and very, very nicely done, holding up beautifully. The paint on it is lovely. Let's have a quick look in here. Again, just opens, no drooping, no smell of dampness or rot or anything. Yeah. That really is a very, very special car, and yeah, I mean, £5,000 is a chunk of money in anyone's book, but it's not a huge amount, I don't think, for what you're getting there. And what you're getting, potentially, from what I can see here, is an incredible vintage car that'll be very, very usable, and I'm sure that would roll down the road a real treat. Just have a quick look at these little stickers in the window. Buick Club UK, and the Club Amigos de Automobiles Antiguos Argentina. I think this was actually restored in Argentina, going back a little way. But yeah, I'll just paint out these red accents, and that would be it as far as the cosmetics on this car. I think that is just a wonderful, wonderful car. Well, a quick battery change later and we're back onto the vintage cars. Next up, from 1927, so just a year later than the Buick alongside, we have got an Austin 20/4 in drop head coupe form. Yeah, you do sit very high, don't you? It's a lot higher seating position than the Buick alongside. And this would be a very useful car as well. I mean, I know Austin 12/4s of this era, they go along very, very well indeed. So a 20, well, this would be quite a good driving car, I would imagine. A sticker for the Knighton Historic Vehicle Club. So that's based not too far from where we are today. Look at the door handles. Wow, cool are they? Very nice. And the depth of the doors as well. Really, really impressive. So 1927, so 99 years old. Look at the shape of those doors. That's incredible.
It's almost marine, isn't it?
Yeah, it is like something you'd see on the boat. Have you not seen the Bean before?
No,
Have
it's,
you not
it's
seen
my
that one?
favourite car here. Everything about it.
You like that? Yeah, it is
If I
cool.
could stretch to that, I'd buy that.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the
It's
Bean again in a
so
moment.
nice.
This is an Austin. This must be one of the most upmarket Austins of the era. We've got these
I like
little.
how it's hidden that.
So what's hidden
It's
in
an
there?
ugly modern fuel gauge.
Oh, the fuel gauge hidden away behind the little flap.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, you've got these little opening glove boxes there. Lovely seats as well. That looks really, really comfy. Bit of space in the back as well for your sandwiches.
It's so high.
Yeah. I love these door handles. It makes me think of getting on an old steam carriage. Hence the name, carriage handles. Yeah, suits you, sir. Yeah.
No, I
you
wouldn't
do tower over
yeah.
everyone, don't you? You're,
So high up.
look at that wonderful gear change, and the gated gear change.
There's no slop in that.
It's just real, it's just a quality job, isn't it? It is amazing, isn't it? Just proper mechanical.
Sound, the weight of it.
Yeah, it's just proper, isn't it? Everything about it is just proper car. Got a dicky seat hiding away in the back here. The only giveaway really is the step down there. Yeah, quite a lofty, very 1920s design of body. Yeah, real imposing car. The estimate on this, just 6 to 10. Yeah, I mean that is just crazy. The amount of car you can get.
Because it's a lot more than a 12.
Yeah, for the price of a pretty average classic car. Yeah, let's have a look at the engine. It's going to be quite a hefty old lump, I would imagine. Paint is getting on a little bit, but don't worry too much about that. Wow. That is a chunk of 4-cylinder engine, so 20 horsepower rating. Yeah, proper heavy castings. That's like something you'd see in a boat as well, isn't it? And there is your auto vac fuel supply.
I don't like the body shape, but it is amazing car, isn't it?
It is an amazing car. Yes. Yeah, and the proud winged Austin badge there.
What you can get through at the moment.
You can get an awful lot of car for not a huge amount of dosh. Right, we carry on. The Bean is a car we have featured on here before, but it's such a lovely looking thing. This is a Bean 14 from 1925. So we've got 1925, 1926, 1927 Austin. This Bean, well, the estimate on this is about 6 to 7 as well. You need to sell some stuff, do you? Yeah, I remember reading about this one in the blurb on the website. I think you have to. It's a hand start because I think there is an electric starter, but I think there's something about the ring gear might need replacing on it. But what a car!
Hand start though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't be impossible. I used to hand start the V8 Pilot.
Yeah. And this is 4-cylinder.
Yeah, yes,
But when you get in it, it's just like
proper.
it's the wood on the sides, as I said. We were talking about marine. So nice.
Yeah, V5C, Buff logbook, some old MOTs, copy of the handbook, 14 horsepower tour, a member of the Bean Car Club.
It's just like nothing better than that, is there?
That is perfect. Suits you.
I might, yeah.
No.
No, because it might go for less, you know.
Yeah, I can see you're tempted. I knew you shouldn't have come with me today. But, yeah, proper. So you can appreciate the fittings, can't you? The quality of the gear shift down there. Like in the Austin, that beautiful gated gear shift. Everything's just built to last. You know, this was before accountants. This was before accountants got involved in car design. All nickel-plated instrumentation, beautiful steering wheel on it as well. So it's a 4-seat tourer, quite a large rear seat again, with oodles of rear foot space. Of course, there's no boot space on cars of this type, so you did need to have oodles of space inside. No door on that side, correct, because the idea was you've got a door for the rear passenger, but the driver, he or she, has to slither across from the passenger side, from the pavement side, so I'm guessing that was probably a safety thing.
I would like that. It's great. I love the huge steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a great driving position, isn't it? It really is quite a machine.
Hopefully it'll be again with a
lovely rear. Yeah, lovely. Well, it's what? The 6 to 7 is the estimate. Yeah, I think it's been adjusted slightly. Yeah, so 6-ish is the estimate on that one. May even come for a little bit less, who knows. Right, and continuing with pre-war years, but just a few years later, is this, the little Morris 10. I say little, it's actually quite a big car for a 10. I think this is a 10.4. They also did a 10.6, which looked very, very similar, but I'm pretty sure this is a 10.4 from the early 1930s. And, well, yeah, it's a good-looking car, and these incredible indicators, this car dates to 1932. These are Wilcott robot indicators, and this was a form of flashing turn signal indicator that Morris thought would be a good idea to pursue. They spent quite a lot of money pursuing this particular idea, but in the end I think it was quite confusing with this 3 different colours of lighting, so in the end they reverted on later cars just to regular pop-up semaphore trafficators. But yeah, pretty cool to see these. You don't often see these still fitted to Morrises of this era, and often when you do, it's usually on more plush models, the Oxfords and such like. But this is the little 10 horse, the Morris 10.4, and again looks to be in wonderful condition. The estimate on this car is 4 to 6, and well, what a beautiful little car. You couldn't restore a bad one for anything like that sort of money. Yeah, that really is beautiful, isn't it? Harley's just been inspecting this one before I got here. Wow, look at that trim.
I know.
I mean, that interior trim would probably cost a fair chunk of what this car is going to sell for. So, yeah, it really is. No, it really is. Did the door shut nicely? Quick. You don't get much better than that, do they? That really is quite something.
Those are great as well.
They are very cool.
I've
I've only seen those once or twice before on a pre-war Morris. Got a big opening sunroof as well. Lots of room in the back as well, so very capacious 4-seater. I'm not quite sure of the engine size, but I'm going to guess around 1100, 1200, that sort of size. Apparently it is open, so I'll just, there we go, gently lift it up. Of course, when you're opening and closing these bonnets, you have to be very mindful of not clouting the lamps, because often you see cars of this age and they've got little dings just in the back of the headlamp there, where the corner of the bonnet has been carelessly dropped onto it, so that's something to look out for on cars of this age. Very nice old Morris Owl container there on the bulkhead. That's very, very nice. I like that. Hydraulic brakes on these particular cars. Got the wheel brace there. Little 4-cylinder engine. All pretty basic, pretty easy to get at as well. Yeah, hydraulic brakes, just like on the Morris 8. In that regard, Morris were quite advanced, certainly compared to their rivals Austin. Austin stuck with regular cable and mechanical brakes for quite a long time, but Morris, well, they dived into the hydraulic braking world well ahead of their rivals from Longbridge. Yeah, lovely Austin. Interesting bean. Looks like a very, very usable vintage Austin. The Buick, I would very much like to own that. Incredible Star, which the more I look at it, the more I like it. The 1931 Star Comet, and the very, very agreeable Rover P3 on the end here. Anyway, onwards we must go. We've got a 3 Series Cabriolet here, one of the E36 Beamers. Let's have a quick look just to see which model this is. Often these have been debadged. This one, 320i, so 2 litre fuel injected straight 6, so they always sound really, really nice. Got a Triumph Dolomite here, a traditional British classic of the 1970s. This, the 1850 HL. So this was one of the more upmarket dollies, I guess. Supplied by Keith Motors of Christchurch. That looks very, very clean indeed. The wheel arches look nice and clean. Let's have a quick peer in through the window. Yeah, it looks to be in great condition there. The original brushed nylon interior. Often these can go a bit wrinkly with years of people sitting on them, in them, jumping in and out. But this actually looks to be very, very well preserved. It shows 59,800 and something on the clock, so that's probably original, I would have thought. But yeah, in very, very good condition. Often the wings start to rot out at the front here. on the Triumph Dolomite, but this one looks to be good in that regard. Like I say, there's no substitute for popping down if there's anything that really appeals to you and having a look on one of the viewing days. It's got a 78 tax disc in the window as well. Next to that we've got a Porsche 944, so the 4-cylinder Porsche, 1989 on the G-plate, some history with it, service stamps, handbook invoices. Covered about 80,000 miles since a replacement engine. Right. Manual gearbox as well. Yeah, 5.5 to 6.5 it says on the window. Yeah, lots of vehicle movements. The car's being prepared throughout the week for the auction that starts this coming Saturday.
247, 247,000.
So the car itself has got 247, is it? Yeah. So it's done 80 odd thousand miles on its replacement engine, but the car has done nearly 250,000 miles. So it's certainly holding up pretty well. You'd expect lots of stone chips and things on the front of it, wouldn't you? 250,000 miles down the road. That's pretty impressive. Next to that, we've got one of the front-wheel drive Lotus Elans with a Japanese Isuzu engine powering the front wheels. Very, very different to the original Lotus Elans of the 1960s, but by all accounts still a very good steer, a very good car to drive. Right, we carry on. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Porsche, like I say, quite a few modern classics, retro cars from the 90s and 2000s onwards. So I'll just have a quick dash around those, but any info you want, you'll get that on the website. Triumph Stag over here, it's got the Mark II alloys on it. It's a K-plate car, so I'm guessing this is a Mark 1 with the later wheels. Nice that it's got the manual box, manual with overdrive, so that coupled presumably still to Triumph's original 3-litre V8 make for a very swish car to drive around in. Beautiful sounding, really do sound good, the Triumph V8s. A Maserati, a two-door Maserati here. Automatic box, quite a good looking car, I think. The famous Maserati Trident there. Yeah, quite a nice car, love the colour.
It looks great.
Slopey flat nose 911 here from the mid 1980s. Yeah, 84, 85. If you've not seen Harley's channel for a while, he did a video recently of a, what was it, slant nose.
This is a conversion though, so it's not.
So this is a conversion. Yeah, this is a conversion to a regular 911 cabriolet. It's a 3.2 Carrera from 1985. Bit of the history there. Slant nose conversion, good running order. Will benefit from light recommissioning following 10 years in storage. So a bit of a 911 project there for somebody. Mini time here, this one on Cosmic alloy wheels, 10-inch Cosmics, the Mini 1275 GT. So Clubman front end, there's all the 1275 GTs were. This was really the spiritual replacement to the earlier Mini Coopers and the Cooper S's. So you've got a hot A-Series engine, twin carbs under the bonnet there. And these deep dish Cosmics do kind of suit it, very, very 1970s looking. Vinyl seating, sporty little steering wheel, upgraded dashboard. And probably quite a hoot to drive, as all Minis tend to be. There we go, 1275 GT. Quite the exhaust pipe sticking out of the back as well. Next to that we have Triumph TR6, a perennial favourite. So popular at all the classic car events we get to. TR Drivers Club is quite active in our area, so we always see plenty of TR4s, 5s and 6s at the shows we get to. This one, a lovely shade of bright yellow. Early cars are quoted at being 150 brake horsepower, later ones 125. Well, that's whether that's due to how they changed the measurement of brake horsepower, I'm not entirely sure, but all the British market cars had the Lucas fuel-injected engine. Cars that went stateside, they had twin Stromberg carbs and were slightly less powerful as a result, and maybe possibly a bit more reliable too. Who knows? Answers on the postcard. But yeah, I think all the foibles of the Lucas PI system from the 1970s, I think they've pretty much been worked out and ironed out by now on the surviving cars. Lotus Elise alongside, very neat little car, a bit of a pocket rocket that one. Now this is a car I've never seen before, this particular example, the little Opel Kadett, a bit like Richard Hammond's Oliver. This one done up with a bit of historic, well, either rallying or racing in mind. I'm not entirely sure which, but it's certainly a very, very eye-catching little car. Historic racing. Porsche 968 off for a spin. Yeah, how cool is that? The Jan Magnussen Racing Shop. So Jan Magnussen, who used to race in F1 many years ago. How cool is that? Left-hand drive, aftermarket tacho, all the mods. Oily bits over there, bits of engine. Now whether that's a spare cylinder head or whether that's a cylinder head off it, I do not know, but yes, quite an interesting little car, that's for sure. Not a car you see in this country very often at all. The Opel Kadett. Over here we have the Porsche 968, so this was the facelifted 944 in many respects. Different front on it with the pop-up lamps similar to those of the 928. The Elise just getting a little move around as well. I could do with one of those. It's very, very handy. And different back end as well. I'm very familiar with the back end of the Porsche 968 as my Saab once rolled down the works car park and impaled itself in the back of one of the directors' brand new Porsche 968 Club Sports. So I remember the rear body design of these cars particularly well. I wasn't even in the car at the time. This was the handbrake decided to release itself, which was not the best morning I've ever had. But yeah, this one looks to be in really cool condition. I like these. Next to it, traditional classic now, the MGB Roadster. This one of the LEs. Very distinctive bronze paint job. One of the very last cars on a Y registration. Metallic bronze paint, very distinctive decals down the side. So yeah, the MGB soldiered on for many, many a year. Came out in 1962 originally, and they were still churning him out in 1980. Rightio, now we've got a classic Fiat. We saw the Fiat 500 before, and this is a little Belvedere. So this is like the estate car version of the Fiat Topolino. That is a beautiful little car, isn't it? What a little sweetie pie that is. Full length opening roof as well. Side hinge back door, just like we used to have on our standard companion.
I love
That really is
that. I don't know how much this one is.
I'm not sure what the estimate is on this. It'll say it's the Belvedere, I think.
No.
Is it the Belvedere? I think it's that.
Yeah.
Rear hinge doors, slidey door windows, and I love how the top of the door just dinks in there to accommodate the sliding door glasses. It's very, very neat detailing on cars of this age. 5 to 8 is the estimate on this one, is it? Wow, what a beauty. Probably an older restoration. A little bit of micro blistering. It's probably had a car cover on it at some point in time, but that's not the end of the world. Lovely badges and mouldings on it. Great shade of green. Two-tone green, in fact, with a green opening roof as well. Oh, what a beauty. Let's have a quick look inside this one just to see what the interior is like. Rear hinge doors. There we go. Let's have a simple as you like. Of course, no window winding mechanism, so lots more extra elbow room for the front seat occupants. Nice simple door catch. Lovely trim as well. Fold down rear seat for a bit of extra carrying capacity. Yeah, everything you need, nothing you don't need. All very, very simplistic, but also very, very stylish as well. Super little wheel there, like the original mats as well. Good round the sills, good round the doors. Shut nicely too. Yeah, what a stylish little estate car. I do like that. Right, now this is a 1933 Morris. This is based on a Morris Minor actually, but it's the McAvoy Special. There was a limited run of slightly sporty looking versions of the Morris Minor, badged up as the McAvoy Special, and that is an example that we are looking at here. This one, as you can clearly see, somewhat dismantled, and, yeah, certainly quite the project car. So the little Morris Minors, they predated the Morris 8s, of course. The Morris 8 Series 1 came along after the Morris Minors. The Morris Minors changed every year or so slightly. This one, the grille, looks like a 32 grille. They changed every year or so. Yeah, certainly quite the kit of parts. There's quite a good following for pre-war Morris Minors, in fact. There's the dashboard up there. Little SU carb on these cars. So while it does look a little bit daunting, I suspect that is a doable project. Obviously, ideally, it's always best to buy a car while it is still complete. But if there's anything missing, such as the interest in these early minors, I don't think there'll be too many problems. This has got the Dunlop Magna wheels. The earlier cars had slightly smaller wheel centres. The very, very early Morris Minors had a very neat little overhead cam engine, but in about 1931-ish they switched to a simpler side valve engine. And, yeah, wow, that really has got a lot of potential. Clearly some work has been done. You can see new brake cables there. So someone started this one but didn't get to finish it, unfortunately, for whatever reason. Yeah, very, very unusual car. Have we ever seen one of these before? Probably not. But this one is from 1933. Maserati, moving under its own steam. Yeah, it does sound pretty healthy, that, doesn't it? Now, this is a very, very interesting little car. Yes, it is an Austin 7 Chummy, one of two A7 Chummies that are entered into the upcoming Brightwells auction, but this is a really early example. This one, I think, is 1923. And as a result, it is a really quite a rare survivor. Yep, super skinny tyres on it.
Even that one's got wider tyres.
Is it?
Like quite a way.
Yep, slightly chunkier rubber on that one, but we'll have a look at that one a bit later.
Mountain bike.
This is very, very early. Gorgeous nickel-plated lamps, scuttle-mounted lamps. It's got a 1930 tax disc in it, but the car is much older. The Austin 7 came out in 1922, so this must be one of the oldest surviving cars. And when you look at it from the side, one of the differences between these cars, the very, very early Chummies, and that one, which is still quite early with the scuttle-mounted lights, is the rear edge of the doors. On these cars, on the early cars, you've got a vertical rear edge, as you can see there. On the later car, which we'll look at closely in a moment, it's at an angle to give you a little bit more space for clambering in and out of the rear seats, but these early Chummies have the vertical rear door edge, and that's something I've very, very rarely seen. This one was an occupant of the Bewley Motor Museum, the National Motor Museum, for many, many years apparently. I can well see why, because it's just a lovely little car. Look at that Newbury round table. Concours d'Elegance, 1963. Yeah, VCC rallies, 1963 in Brighton. Bewley Rally, 1965. 750 Motor Club Austin 7 Rally, 1966 at Bewley. So yeah, what a rare survivor this is. Look at those door catches. Fantastic. Got the little side screens here as well, so a proper folding roof. So that's a nice little feature. You don't have to assemble the roof yourself, which we do on our MG.
It's got 60s rally plaques.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just look at those. Yeah,
Sorry,
pretty cool. A little posy holder as well. Yeah,
really
very,
nice little car.
very unusual little car. The estimate on this is 15 to 20, which is probably top-end money for a Chummy on the face of it. But if you want an early Chummy, you're going to look quite a long way before you find another one. Wonderful little lamp just there. But yeah, there aren't many of these around on the market, hence the estimate on this particular very bonny green example. So 747cc, little side valve 4-cylinder engine under that tiny bonnet. That engine would stay pretty much unchanged right through production into the Ruby as well of the mid to late 1930s. But this one from 1923, one of the oldest surviving Austin 7 Chummies. Talking of Austin 7 Rubies, we've got a Ruby alongside it. This is the Mk1 Austin 7 Ruby. It's a quite a lot bigger car compared to its older brother alongside. Same engine, slightly longer chassis on the Ruby compared to these earlier 7s, but the mechanicals were very, very similar. Obviously you've got this painted radiator cowl by this point in time, something that was also a feature of the Austin 10 Lichfield. We'll be looking at an example of one of those a little bit later. This is the Mk1 Ruby. You can tell the Mark 1s and the 2s apart because these have much more vertical windscreen pillars. This is the Mark 1 compared to the Mark 2, which is a bit more angled back. And also round the side here, these cars have little pop open rear side windows and these frames around the windows and the catches just there, allowing you to pop them open. On the Mark II Ruby, as well as the different windscreen pillars, it's a lot more roundy round here, and I think the rear side windows are actually wind down from inside. You can't pop them out like you can here. But yeah, not too many differences between early and late Rubies, but those are two of the differences between them. This one appears to still have its original reg as well, which is really nice to see. Good one in black. So what's the estimate on this one? Not quite sure offhand, but it's going to be 4-ish, isn't it? 4, maybe 5, something like that. So very bonny. Yeah, very bonny little car. Loads of spares and parts around for these. Look how original those seats look. Wow. A few bits and bobs in the back. Headlining looking a little bit second hand at the forward end. The back end doesn't look too bad, so you could probably piece that back together. If those seats could talk. I mean, where's this car been all its life throughout the war? Obviously this is a mid-30s, mid to late 1930s, about 34, 35 is the date on this Mark 1 Ruby. Where was it during the war? Was it laid up, put up on bricks? Fuel availability, of course, was not great during the Second World War. So yeah, this must have such a history to it. Alongside, we go back even further in time to the oldest car I think we've seen here today. This is an AC, and this dates to 1921. This is an AC Royal. No, it is not. It is an AC Empire. It also appears.
That I think that's brilliant.
Do you like that? Do you?
Yeah, I think it's just wonderful little thing.
It is pretty wild,
4
isn't
to
it?
6. You
Is
cannot get a car that
Yeah,
old.
4 to 6 is the estimate on this.
It's hilarious.
It's been brush painted, as so many cars of this era were. It's certainly a very characterful little car, isn't it? So, oh, I see. So you got the pull out, right? So you got the pull out side panels. Yeah, well, there we go. Oh, I see. Right, yes. So 1921, so 105 years old. This car. Oh, pretty easy to get at. And again, beautiful castings
I think it's great.
everywhere you look.
The body looks better in person, actually. I think.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the look of it when I was looking at the photos. I'm not quite sure what the hood arrangement is on it.
There's not one.
I don't think there is a great deal of hood. No. But it would be an interesting thing to tinker with, fettle up, get used again. And yeah, properly old, 1921, so even older than that Chummy that we were looking at. The AC Light car of Thames Ditton. Of course, AC perhaps best remembered for the AC Ace, the Acica and the Cobra, of course, which came along as a result of the AC Ace and Carroll Shelby taking an interest in the Ace. But this is altogether older, but again, an original AC from Thames Ditton. Yeah, not much in the way of roof that I can see. Very, very 1920s shape of body, which actually I like it.
It's funny, isn't
In the metal, yes. I wasn't sure when I looked in the photographs, but actually, yes. But now I see it.
Funny little thing, isn't it?
Yeah, oil. But yeah, now I see it. Actually, for a 1920s car, kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I think you could get a little tonneau cover made to cover the seating area. I'm not sure if there is a seat with it, so you might have to create a seat of some description, unless there's one somewhere. Well, you could find it. Yeah, you could find some sort of seat. You've got a little gear lever just over there.
Sounds like you're planning for your.
No, so you just got a tiny little door on the passenger side, and you slither across, because over that side you couldn't have a door because the spare wheel is just over there. But yes, neat little car, lots of great little fittings on it.
It's
A little
so funny,
Smith's
isn't it?
clock there.
It's so good.
It is a funny little car. It is. Yeah. I see why you like that, young man. Isn't it? Yeah. I don't know, but look at how old these lights are. Beautiful CA Vandervelde, I think that was for.
Shame that was this.
No, you'd find one of those, wouldn't you? A little plaque just to go
I
on
guess
the
it's
top.
not an AC lamp, is it? So you could probably
No, it's just
Yeah.
an off the shelf lampage. But yeah, it's sort of been an interesting thing to fettle up. Solid disc wheels, no brakes on the front. Presumably there are brakes on the back.
Sort of 4.
Well, the estimate's 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
lower estimate, but
a bit of a project for someone there. Right, let's carry on. Lovely little Riley 9 Tourer alongside VJ3389. Riley's a perennial favourite in the vintage car world. This one based on the 9 horsepower chassis. 4-door, 4-seat Tourer, but oftentimes 4-seat Tourers are quite big cars, but this is actually fairly compact. Harley seems to be showing an unhealthy amount of interest in the AC, but I'll carry on and try and distract him. So fabric covered body on this particular car. Very, very sporting cars, the Rileys. Look at that beautifully well equipped dashboard. Many controls, switches and so on. Yeah, lovely original door trim panels. Very good. Yes. Yeah, I like that. It really is a nice looking little Riley 9, complete with the Riley diamond shaped rear window. So that's quite agreeable. Decent set of boots on it as well. Looks like it's had newish tyres in fairly living memory. Right, let's carry on. Let's see if we can drag him away from the AC.
it's great.
Yeah, little gear lever just down next to your right hand. Yeah. All very mechanical gated gearbox. Yeah, pretty cool. Right, let's carry on because there's still many things to see. Got a little standard here, so from 1930s. I think this is a 12 horsepower saloon. Standard, setting the standard, that was the idea behind the name. Not standard as in basic, which you might think now, but it was all about setting the standard. And yeah, quite a roomy, lofty, high roofline 4-door saloon here. Pre-war, so mid to late 1930s, I would guess the date on this particular car. Let's have a quick look inside because I spy some very original looking leather seats. 100 mile of Ypres. It seems like it gets around a bit, this one, but yeah, very comfy seats. Look at that, very nice trim in this one.
It's quite affordable as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Lovely. It's going to be 4-ish, isn't it? Yeah. Lovely West of England cloth headlining in great condition. Yeah. Very agreeable, real nice dash actually. Very smart dashboard. Great view down the bonnet. That's one of the great things about cars of this age, the view out, the view of the instruments, the view down the bonnet, tops of the chrome headlights. Yeah, just really nice things. And yeah, these pre-war saloons don't tend to command huge amounts of money now. So if you want to get a characterful car, you could do a lot worse than one of these. Standard Motor Club is the organisation to join if you were going to buy one of these. And all these stickers suggest that this one has seen some quite regular use in recent times, which is always a good thing. One of the reasons I bought the MG that I did is because the gentleman who restored it then took it off touring around France on at least one occasion, maybe more. So there's a lot to be said for cars that have got evidence of recent regular use, and that appears to be the case with this pre-war standard 12. Right, let's carry on. We've got an Alvis here. Now, only yesterday I went with Harley to go and do a quick emergency video of an Alvis TA14 from 1948 that needs rescuing, and while doing that video I suggested that the possible fate for that particular car might be that it gets turned into a special, because the cost of restoring the coachwork, the saloon coachwork on a saloon like we were looking at yesterday versus the value of the finished car, the difference is so great that oftentimes people throw away the bodies and simply build their own. Some look good, others not so much. This is based on a TA14, probably identical to the car we were looking at yesterday. The base car, the TA, was built from 1946 to 1950, just over 1800cc engine, the original cars. This car probably started out as a saloon, and then probably some time ago now someone decided to make a special out of it. There's the Alvis hair, the mascot there on top of the radiator, big lamps, probably straight off the saloon that it was based upon. We've got A30 or A35 side lights, pop-up semaphore indicators, leather bonnet straps. So looking at it, it's a conversion that was probably done quite some time ago. Got an outside handbrake on it, regular wheels from the TA. Some of the clocks are from the TA as well. That looks like it's sort of a 1970s rev counter, so I'm wondering if that's when this particular conversion was done. So it's rescued a car that probably otherwise would not have gone back on the road. It'd be nice to think that the Alvis we were looking at yesterday would be restored with its mulliners of Birmingham coachwork, the saloon, the sports saloon bodywork, but will it happen? Who knows? Possibly it'll get turned into a special, or maybe just broken for parts, who knows. Yeah, this one started out as a TA14, I'm sure it would have been a saloon, and has got a second life as this, an intriguing little special. Right, let's carry on. Now, Morris 8, we've got a Morris 8 Series 1 saloon, a two-door saloon. I think the estimate on this one is about 5-ish, so we're talking similar money on this to several of the cars on the back row there, the earlier vintage cars. This one quite a lot smaller than them, 918cc, little side valve 4-cylinder engine, quite a sharp looking little car, hydraulic brakes, so that was a big improvement I suppose over the old mechanical brakes. Like I say, Austin with the Ruby still had mechanical brakes, but Morris went down the hydraulic route just to set themselves apart. Also, electric fuel pumps on these. Austin's stuck with mechanical AC pumps for a long time. Original registration too. Opening windscreen, so a bit of ventilation while you drive along. Opening sunroof as well. So quite a stylish looking little car, very similar in fact to the Ford Model Y in many respects. The way the back body curves around. Actually, good looking little cars, I think these are. Two of the pork pie rear lamps. Originally it would have had just a single lamp illuminating the back of the car and the number plate. Yeah, adequate room for 4 people in there. Quite a well equipped dashboard as well. Well supported by the Morris Register, who run their own spares scheme, so yeah, not too hard to keep one of these on the road. So what's that going to be, about 5-ish. Now this on the website, this was described as a Vauxhall 12, but I'm almost certain this is actually a Vauxhall 10. The 12 was just a little bit bigger. This I think is a Vauxhall 10-4, little 4-cylinder engine on the bonnet, late 1930s is the date of this one. Green is probably not original, but it certainly looks like it's been on there a while, probably an older restoration. Vauxhall Motors badge there. Luton in England, of course the factory is no more. I'll just have a quick look under here. This should have a little 4-cylinder engine. I'll just carefully lift that up. There we go, there's a little 4-pot engine of the Vauxhall 10-4. The 12s and the 14s had a 6-cylinder engine. 6-volt electrics. And of course the flutes, the very famous Vauxhall flutes that were a feature of Vauxhalls for many, many years. That would have been chrome plated originally. Yeah, quite a small little car, quite unusual actually. It's quite unusual to see one of these. I can't remember the last time I actually saw a Vauxhall 10. Austin 10s, Morris 10s, yeah, see those. But the Vauxhall equivalent, these little four-door cars, not so much. It's actually quite an unusual car to see. Let's have a quick peer inside. Door actually shuts really, really nicely. Wow, that looks very, very original indeed. Look at the original seating. Headlining, still holding up okay. A slightly sort of musty old car smell. Very stylish dash actually. That would probably oily rag up very, very neatly. I could happily spend 20 minutes just cleaning up the interior a little bit. Just wipe over the seats, clean up the door trims, clean up the dash, and that would transform it. The vibe is a car that's probably been sat for a little while. Let's just go and have a look around the back. You always want to be checking where the wings on cars like this, not just Vauxhalls, but where the wings bolt through the back here, because you've got this sort of beading which acts as like a filler between the outer wing and the inner body. And over time these beadings start to deteriorate and break up, letting in water with fairly predictable consequences. But this appears to be solid, where sometimes you find rust. Obviously if you just push on here, you're listening or feeling for any sort of crunching sounds. But this is all, I mean, proper metal, don't forget.
Is this the original engine?
Yeah, it's a little 10. The Vauxhall badge on the back. FMA 345, the original registration and plates. Twin rear lights, because that was a regulation change in the 1950s that applied retrospectively, so every car that was on the road had to be updated with twin as opposed to single rear lights. Yeah, very neat looking little car actually, these Vauxhall 10s. A bit smaller than the 12s and the 14s, and very, very unusual actually. Quite a rare survivor, that one. I'm not sure what the estimate on this is, but it's not going to be much. Sorry? No reserve, is it? Right. Yeah, so what's that going to go for? A couple of £1,000, 1,500 quid, something like that I would have thought. So it'll be interesting to watch that and see how it does. Alongside, well, there's a lot more of these around. This is a Ford Pop 103E. These were produced throughout the 1950s, right through until 1959 in fact. A little side valve engine under the bonnet. This is a 1955 car, and yeah, looks to be pretty original plates. A couple of nice extra lamps on the front there. Yeah, so 4-cylinder side valve engine, the body shell based on the previous E4948 Anglia, whereas the Anglia had a 933cc engine. These have got the slightly larger 1172cc 10-horse engines. Looks to be really, really clean and presentable in there actually. Still got the original dynamo, thermo siphon cooling, so no water pump on these unless it's been fitted with the optional water pump, which I don't think it has. Export cars tended to have a water pump on them, but UK market cars, as a rule, they didn't. Got a starting handle just on the bulkhead. So this is the same colour as the V8 Pilot that we used to have, Ludlow green. So Ludlow, not that far away up the road actually from where we are today. It's got the little Mickey Mouse ear indicators, so that was a replacement for the pop-up semaphores. Period roof rack on this one as well. This one has got the opening ventilators on the front scuttle here. Later 103Es didn't have that, they just had a fixed air intake, whereas these you could open and close them. It's got the latest style of steering wheel. The early Pops were different to that. Painted metal dash. The Anglia had a really nice Bakelite dash, but the Pop, as the cheapest car in Ford's range, well, that just had simple painted tin dashboard that you can see there, very similar to that in the little E83W vans and pickups that were sold at the same time. Yeah, very neat little car, and Ludlow green, best colour for these I think. Black, a little bit sombre. You can see similar car, very similar to the Vauxhall alongside. This one, the Ford, very much with its roots in the pre-war days, but this one was produced, like I say, until 1959. So it was well pensionable by the time it finally went out of production. very popular cars, no pun intended. Lots of spares around. Ford Side Valve Owners Club is the club to join if you end up with one of these. A little bit of tin worms and some old repairs that have gone bad at the bottom edge of the back wing, but otherwise it looks pretty good. Gutters, they're good. They can go a bit frilly, the gutters. Overall, just a little repair on the front wing. Otherwise, looks to be a pretty good car. What's that going to go for? 3-ish, 3.5 maybe, something like that. Yep, be interesting to hear it run. Very smooth little engines, these side valve engines. Now, next to it, we're back to Austin, Longbridge's finest, and this is the Austin 10 Lichfield. So like I was saying with the Ruby before, compared to the earlier Austin 7s, they went to the painted radiator cowls for the Ruby, and this, the Lichfield, is the facelifted Austin 10-4, which from 32 to 34 had a chrome radiator on the front. The cars were upgraded to what we see here with a painted cowl in front of the radiator, and it became the Austin 10 Lichfield, and that's what we're looking at here. This one will be about 35, 36 in date, somewhere around there. Looks to be very nice condition actually. I forget what the estimate is on this one. 4.5, is it? Right. So slightly bigger than your Austin 7s, and I think, yeah, these are actually my favourite of the small Austins of the era. I just think these are really, really good. A bit more space in them, slightly larger engine compared to a 7. So unless you're going to go racing and want an Austin 7 to tune up, because there are loads of tuning parts available for Austin 7s, yeah, there's a lot to be said for getting one of these, and they're usually a little bit cheaper than the 7s as well. Plenty of room in there. We often see one of these at the Turnhill Hall evening meets that we get to quite regularly. It's even got a little smoker's hatch in the roof there next to the lamp. But yeah, what a beautiful place to be. Trim, very, very nice. Nice wood dash. Loads of instruments for what was a fairly cheap car at the time, the Austin 10. Very, very well equipped. Got the opening screen as well, so you can hinge that open for a bit of added ventilation on a nice day like we're enjoying today. The original Austin rubber covers on the running boards. The Austin winged logo there. Yeah, very bonny, very neat little car. I like that a lot. I wouldn't say no to that. Anyway, what else have we got here today down in sunny Leominster? Right, let's up the pace a bit because I'm conscious of the fact this video is probably going to be quite long again, but well, no change there. We've got a Triumph here, another Roadster, this one in cream, 1800 or 2 litre engine under the big long swoopy bonnet of that. Again, lovely interior fittings, proper quality. You know, I keep banging on about the quality of the fittings in these old cars of the 40s, 50s and before, and well, lots and lots of examples here of it. Splitty campers just over the way here. So many different permutations and window arrangements on these rear-engined air-cooled VW campers. That one got a pretty spectacular roof rack on the top there. Really cool things. And here, oh, we've got a bay window pickup crew cab. Now that's got to be quite unusual. N registration to mid-70s. Look at that extra door in the back. Extra row of seats. Let's have a quick look in there because it's not every day you see one of these. So rear doors in a little bay window VW. Yeah. Engine in the back, of course, but yeah, rear seating. Sort of perfect family vehicle, perhaps, for the air-cooled VW enthusiast. Quite a high floor in the back, because of course you got an engine under there, behind there, so that compromises the carrying capacity a little bit, I guess, of these rear-engine VWs. But what a rare thing. The drop-side body on it as well. So that is one of the rarest things here today, probably. Right, now, alongside it, this is an example of a vehicle that I've owned quite a few examples of over the years, the little Ford E83W pickup. These were built from 38 to 1957. In fact, I still run the website for the Ford E83Ws, even though I haven't owned one for quite a while. I do like these. I'd quite happily have another one of these. I won't mind another pickup again. This one looks like it's had quite a lot of work on it. Some of these were built originally as pickups, some were vans, and there were all other permutations as well. Some of the pickups we see are cut down vans, because oftentimes if people crashed into the back of a van or rot got to it, you just chop it off and make your own little pickup. This one looks like it's been restored at some point in time. Let's have a quick look in here. So there's that one. That one's locked. That one's locked, I think. Yeah, we've got a little wooden drop side body on it. Quite bonny little van. So it looks like it's had quite a lot of restoration work done on it. Very, very characterful. Same engine as the Ford Pop that we were looking at before. This may have started out originally as a van, who knows. Let's see if this door is open. There we go. Nice little Fordson tractor toolbox in there. Very appropriate. Early versions of these were badged as Fordson, later ones as Ford Thames. This one I think is a mid-1950s example. Like I say, these were built right through from 38 to 1957, were finally replaced by the flat-fronted Thames 400E and the first of the Transits after that. This one looks like the lenses are possibly out of an Austin or something like that. Yep, Thames badging on the later E83W. Right, let's carry on. We've got a Series 3 Landy. In fact, the whole lineup of Land Rovers, and it wouldn't be a Brightwells auction without a collection of Land Rovers. The Series 3s, Series 1s, and no doubt Series 2 here and there. We've got a Datsun here. Is this a 280 ZX? I'm not too well up on my Z cars. Probably is. It's got the lift out roof panels on this one. Very plush, luxurious interior. Manual box as well. Quite a bit bigger than the original 240Z. Yeah, the 280ZX. This particular car on a private registration number. Yeah. We have Citroen Light 15. So the traction Avant. This is one of the smaller cars. Bigger cars had extra windows here, and there was the Commercial with the sort of lift-up rear hatch, which doubled up as a van. But this is a regular saloon, the Citroen Traction Avant. It's right-hand drive, so there's a good chance that this is one of the Slough-built cars. Let's go and have a look around the front at the chevrons. Yep, chevrons are behind the vertical grille slats, so that tells us this is a Slough-built car, built here in the UK, so kit of parts shipped over from France and built over here. And of course, right-hand drive. Great looking cars these, I do like these. Door opens very, very nicely. Looks like the original trim. Very well equipped dash. Very nice place, very agreeable place to sit, I would imagine. Right, let's carry on, because that is lovely. We've got a Riley RM, I think this is an RME. Volvo P1800 ES. Quite a swanky looking shooting brake from the 1970s, based on the older P1800S. Great colour as well. That one's about 1971. Very, very stylish. Super sleek with that very low roofline. All the leaded in panel joins as well. No ugly seams on these beauties. Just continuous panelling all the way round. Great looking cars those. Fuel injected in the ES's. 4-cylinder fuel injected engine. There is the Riley, the 1.5 litre Riley RM alongside it. Very similar registration to our big Dodge, the big truck. That's 866 XUB. So this was presumably registered or re-registered by DVLA maybe just a day or so after our truck was done. Quality car, this 1.5 litre version of the Riley RM. Another Citroen Traction Avant just here. This one in white, lovely detailing too, I like that. Merc here, 300 SL, again with the hardtop. This is a left-hand drive Citroen Traction, also presumably a French-built original. Yep, the chevrons on the outside of the grille. Yeah, pretty cool. So would you go for the white left-hand drive or the black right-hand drive? Answers on the postcard. Like I say, your comments always welcome. Another Riley RM series here. VW Beetle, more Land Rovers of course. The 1300 Beetle on a 1966 super original plate. That really is perfect and very original paint for the most part as well. So yeah, it's got a great, really good look to that. The RM, another Riley RM. Again, beautiful place to sit. So post-war car, this the 2.5 litre car, the pale blue background on the back of the badge there. That tells us this is the 2.5, the bigger engine car. It's got a 1952 tax disc in the window, so that will be pretty much the date or thereabouts of this example. So it looks like a pre-war car, but it's very definitely post-war. Let's have a quick look inside as Harley's just swung the door open. Rear hinge doors. Look at that lovely interior. Wow. Oof. Look at that wonderful, real sort of leathery, woody, leathery smell as the door is open. Split windscreen, and again, just the perfect view down the bonnet. Yeah, super cars. Right, let's carry on. Keep things going. We've got a Ford Zephyr Mk2 by complete contrast. This the 6-cylinder car. The console had the 4-cylinder engine. Then there was the Zodiac, which was the upmarket version of this, the Zephyr. I think this has played police car at Goodwood revivals before now. Yeah, well, look at that bench front seating, column shift, 6-cylinder engine under that bonnet. So that would probably roll along very well. Door shuts beautifully as well. Yeah. Don't see too many of these around now. The hooded lamps remind me quite a lot of the early Ford T-Bird, the Thunderbirds. Yeah, how straight is that? Black is a very difficult colour to get looking good. Any flaws in the bodywork, and black just highlights it straight away. The Ford Zephyr. Next to that we've got an Alvis TC21/100. So this was the sporty version of the TC21. This is the Grey Lady, instantly identifiable by the extra air intakes on top of the bonnet panel there, and standard fitment of wire wheels with the centre lock knock-ons. So yeah, this was the slightly tweaked performance version of the TC21. Two-tone paintwork was pretty common on these cars. So the TA Special we were looking at just down there, and the TA14 we saw yesterday. Then there was the TA30, I think. Was it the TA20? And then the TC21 came along. So the car yesterday we saw evolved into this over just a few short years. Beautiful wooden dash in there. Well, just another proper quality post-war British car with great styling. I think the coachwork on these, just like on the earlier TA14, was done for Alvis by Mulliners of Birmingham. I'm sure they were still doing the coachwork for Alvis at the time. And yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful job they did of it as well. How nice is that? And look at that period radio. Let me just poke my camera in there. Look at that lovely wireless set just tucked away there. Very, very nice car. 280 SL moving just over there in front of this. So we've got another Austin 7 Chummy. This one dates to 1928. So the green car was 1923. This one is 5 years newer, still with the headlamps mounted on the scuttle. On later cars they would relocate to the front of the car. Yeah, this one 1928. The estimate on this one is 7 to 9, so getting on for half as much as the much rarer earlier car over there, but to be honest, to drive it would be pretty much identical, I would have thought. We'll just have a quick look at the doors, because this, like I say, that angle on the rear edge of the doors to give a bit more space for clambering in and out of the back, and indeed the front, that was a feature you see on most Austin 7 Chummies, whereas the earlier cars had the vertical back edge. Right, let's just finish off the cars that are in here. Toyota Land Cruiser, another one here, the earlier version, which is quite a chunky fella, left-hand drive as well. We've got the body shell of a Peel Trident here, so if you fancy building your own bubble car, well, that would be a good starting point, wouldn't it? Peel, based on the Isle of Man. BMW Isetta here, a right-hand drive BMW Isetta, folded roof in the open position for a bit of open-air motoring. Super little cars. And a Barclay here, a little three-wheel Barclay, fiberglass body on these particular cars, usually motorcycle power. Different engines were offered, including Excelsior. And on the end here, a mighty Jeep of the early 1970s. And I think that cluster of red classics there completes our walk around of the cars in the building here. We are back to the 1926 Lee Francis and the Morgan alongside. So I think now we'll head outside and check out what we can find over there. So let's have a quick look around. We've got a V8 Jaguar here, very similar running gear to that in our X308. Mine is still in dry dock after disgracing itself on the way back from the Great British Jaguar Day down at Bicester a few weeks ago. 911 Carrera here. Like I say, all the details of these later cars and the older cars will be found on the Brightwells website. Got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I briefly had a diesel one of these many years ago. Toyota MR2, the Mark III version of the MR2. VW Beetle, one of the later cars. R129 Mercedes-Benz SL. Got a bit of info in the window, so it'd be rude not to have a quick look. 1998 320 SL, V5C, MOT till December, 15 old MOTs, 12 service stamps, handbook, invoices, etc, etc. Probably a lot of car for not a huge amount of money. Good old Fiesta there, great little run around for someone. The Chrysler Crossfire, based on the Merc SL. Little Honda Civic Type R. Alfa Romeo Spider. Merc Cabriolet, 20 odd years old now. Let's just keep going over here. We've got another W123 Mercedes, this one on a B plate. So about 1984 there, or thereabouts. Right-hand drive car, steel sunroof with the Perspex wind deflector. Well remembered Dad's Saab Turbo having one of those wind deflectors on the roof. This, the 280E, so 2.8 6-cylinder engine, and it's got a tow bar as well. So that could be a very handy bit of kit. Nice, I like these. Rear head restraints as well. Yep, pretty neat. Got a C-Class Merc here, C180. Various cars being moved around. Harley's just gone to get a sandwich. Ooh, Series 1 XJ. By gum. I think I've had 3 Series 1 XJs over the years. The first was a V12 Series 1 back in the mid-1990s, and I had 2 6-cylinder cars, I think, as well. One was a Daimler, 4.2. Yeah, this is a Daimler version as well, on the J plate, so about 1971. I do like these. This is the same colour as the XJ12 that I used to have. That was a long wheelbase XJ12L. I'm guessing this has got the 6-cylinder, probably the 4.2. So yeah, tidy. Room for a bit of improvement, maybe a rolling resto perhaps. That would be a good choice for this one, I think. Auto box, so the regular Borg Warner 3-speed auto box. Red line starts at 5,000. Wow, it's hot in here. Oh, I like that. The original supplying dealer plaque. Stratstone Limited, Mayfair in London. So I wonder what the early story is with this beauty. Was it bought by a captain of industry perhaps? These were quality cars, really smooth things to drive around in. Yeah, 4.2 litre Daimler version. Pretty nice car. Nice, yeah, straight pipes on it, just like the very first cars. But yeah, nice little project for someone there. Obviously a bit of TLC required in the usual places, but they all need a bit of something. Alice Chalmers, dinky little Alice Chalmers tractor alongside. Quite a narrow one. I wonder if this is like a vineyard tractor. Oftentimes they had much narrower front axles for negotiating, like your French vineyards, etc. Alice Chalmers. Yeah, looks like an older restoration that's just mellowed in nicely. Appears to be road registered, so if you want to go on a classic tractor run, maybe this is the car for you. Got a Volvo 760 GLE, very much American type styling when these came out back in the 1980s. Almost vertical rear window on these. We bought an estate version of one of these when we moved house 20 odd years ago. But yeah, so American. Looks like an 80s American Cadillac almost, with that shape of rear window. Harley's just spotted this, a fairly early example of the Wolseley 1500. Oh, I do like these. I could be so tempted with one of these as a regular user, similar to what we used the little Standard 8 for, just something to jump in and just to use, and with the rack and pinion steering and so on, based on that of the Morris Minor, but with the B-Series engine, these are actually really usable cars. These and the Riley versions, which are slightly pepped up. This is an early-ish one with a slightly narrower grille arrangement and the smaller indicators. Later cars have the combined side light and turn signals from the Morris Minor 1000, and also the later cars have the bigger A40 Farina backlights. So this one's presentable. Sometimes you see these with, I'm not sure if these are fiberglass or are they steel. I think they're steel. That's steel. So yeah, sometimes you're seeing them with fiberglass front ends on them, but really it's better to have one with the steel panels. But yeah, and yep, small backlights. Quite a fun little run around that is. Presentable, not immaculate, but very usable little car, the Wolseley 1500. Quite a decent sized boot as well. Let's have a quick, it's a heavy boot, crikey. Yeah, it all looks very original on the seams here. This is where you're looking for problems. It doesn't look bad. That is a heavy boot. Alright, thank you. Yeah, that is a very. Have you tried if you just see how heavy that boot is? It's mental. That's quite a heavy panel, isn't it?
Nah, it's lightweight. What do you mean?
Yeah, you've still got all the original. You got all the original factory welds there and everything. So that's always a good sign.
It's okay, isn't it? I don't know what it is. It low reserve?
I'm not sure what the estimate is on this. But, yeah, nice early trim, isn't it? The two-tone trim, wood dash. Yeah, it's quite nice actually. There's the Wolseley plates down there. Door shuts well. Yeah. Nice early-ish example of the Wolseley. Right, let's carry on. Got a Saab 9.3 here. Like I say, we'll just have a quick look at these later cars and focus on the older ones, because otherwise I'll be here all day. The Mazda Quattroporte MGB GT with MGB matching mud flaps, glass sunroof, got the stripy deck chair trim, so called in this. These late BGTs have this very vividly coloured brushed nylon interior trim. overdrive switch on the top of the gear lever, so that's always handy to have an overdrive gearbox. So there's a few active pigeons around here. SL 350, the Bentley Continental, that Flying Spur, I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Sat quite low at the back. XK 4.2 Jaguar XK 2.8 wide body BMW Z3. Here we go. Saab 9.3 Aero Cabriolet. Audi Estate. Another green rubber bumper MGB GT. So quite the selection of MGBs here today. The owner of this one, member of the MG Owners Club, again with the deck chair type of trim. Again, another very, very practical classic.
Identical, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty similar. Another little MGTF here. Reliant Scimitar 1800 Ti turbo injection. So a lot of these cars, when they first came out, the SS1s, fiberglass bodied, they were either 1300 or I think 1600, but in later years they also offered the turbocharged version, and that appears to be what we're looking at there. Z4 manoeuvres, Audi Cabriolet, nice chrome bumper B here on the mini light wheels. Yeah. Looks pretty sharp. Next to the E46 T-Series Cabriolet, very, very nice little Fiat Panda. I'm not sure if this is in this auction or maybe a future auction, but the Brightwells website will reveal all, I'm sure. Yeah, bonny little car. Nice back to basics car. The more time goes on, the more I prefer simple, older cars. Cars that just kind of work. There we go. Funny sort of door handle arrangement on these. Yeah. Simple, but still a very, very stylish interior. Lovely jazzy seats as well. Wow. Yeah. What a great little city car one of those would be, especially with the big open roof as well. Right here, what else have we got? Ah, yes, the Caravan, mustn't forget that. Now whether this Transit Mark 1 camper is in the next auction or the one after, I don't know, but you know what to do. But I can hardly walk past and not take a quick look at that. The bullnose camper there, Ford Transit, this one with the twin wheels either side on the back, hence the flared wheel arches. Yeah, twin wheels. Pretty cool classic camper. Classic campers like a bit on top, I'm sure they do, but I find myself drawn so much to this incredible little caravan over here. If you've been following an old classic car for a long time, you'll know I do have a bit of a soft spot for old caravans, having had one or two smallish examples over the years, and that really is a bit of a beauty. I was reading up about this one yesterday on the website. It's been restored, and apparently the undercarriage, the wheels, are believed to come from some sort of like artillery trailer or something from the First World War era. Either way, they look certainly 1920s with those old artillery wheels. It did say not suitable for towing on the road. I'm not quite sure why that would be. Maybe it needs some brakes looking at. What a characterful old thing with the leaded glass windows. I do think these are just wonderful. Can you imagine having like a nice sort of 30s, maybe a Derby Bentley or something like that, with this attached to the back? Wouldn't that just be the perfect way to arrive at a classic or a vintage car event? Is it open? It'd be nice if it was open. No, I think it's locked. No, it is definitely locked. Yes. What a beautiful little thing that is. You could even make it into a little Airbnb, put it at the bottom of the garden, and people could have holidays in it. What a fantastic thing. Rightio, what have we got left? Jaguar XJ, pretty cool looking car. Another E46 Cabriolet. Mini, 2005-ish. Little Mini Cooper S, this one of the supercharged cars. Later cars were turbocharged, but by all accounts, the supercharged cars are the ones to go for now. Wow. Back to my natural environment. Look at this sad old Humber. Oh my goodness me. An early 1930s Humber. XK's on the move. What a sorry sight indeed. Good grief. It looks like the front wheel is hanging off, but in fact it's just the tyre that's come off the rim. The rim itself appears to be pointing in roughly the right direction. Must be quite a rare old bird. This is quite a big car. I say about 1933 is the date on this one, but clearly fallen on hard times, and its glory years are definitely behind it. And if we can have a quick peer under the bonnet, hope the bonnet doesn't fall off. Can we lift that up? Whoa, it's quite a hefty old thing. Eee, by gum. Right, there we go. So all the oily bits appear to be there. There's a chassis plate just on the bulkhead. She's looking a bit tired. Yeah, this is another car a bit like that Alvis that we were looking at yesterday. A big old saloon, and you do wonder what the future holds for it. I think it's fair to say the future isn't entirely bright. I wonder where this has been stored all this time. Got lots of interior in there, remains of number plates. But, the roof is looking a bit second-hand. Still, just get the cobwebs off the camera. But yeah, the dash is still there, gear lever, presumably attached to a gearbox. But by gum, that would have been quite a handsome bit of kit in the early 1930s. Quality car, lovely shape. Reminds me a bit of an early Rolls Royce. The way the D body, they call these, the way they cut the way in and come back out again for the fuel tank. Yes. I think this one has probably run its last mile, unless someone decides to make a special out of it, which is kind of unlikely. So maybe its best hope is just to provide parts to keep another example on the road, because no one's rebuilding this as a saloon, I would venture to suggest. It's kind of sad, but at least yeah, I said, where's it been all this time? What stories can it tell? I mean, what an incredible thing. I guess it'd be a nice bit of yard art. Just bolt some headlights on it, put some headlights on it, tidy the roof up a bit just to make it level, and just put it in the corner of the drive and just admire its wonderful lines. But yeah, the chances of that being restored are slim, I would suggest. But if you do end up buying this, it'd be great to hear from you what your plans are for it. Also, the Morris Minor alongside, or at least you can buy all the parts for these. But clearly there are some structural issues, certainly around the front. There appear to be a little bit of collapsing going on there. So the future for this Moggy, well, I guess you can buy all the bits for it, like I say. You could restore it perhaps, but whatever's going on behind here is not pretty, so it may just end up being a parts car. All this is available new, all the wood, but those structural issues at the front, not a pretty sight by any means. Got a Ford Escort Mark II here in many pieces, many pieces inside, so that'll probably end up being a rally car, I would imagine. What a sad sight that Humber. And the Morris is over here. Now we've got a Ford of Canada CMP, the Canadian military pattern truck. So these were built by Ford and Chevrolet. I was looking at one of these at an event just over the weekend, just gone. Very distinctive tilt forward windscreen. Quite unusual to see one of these still in its military guise. Lots of these were bought from disposal auctions post the Second World War, converted into wreckers for country garages, that kind of thing. Quite a rare survivor. This one, Canadian Ford right-hand drive. Yeah, quite the bonny machine. So I guess it's that time at the end of the video to decide what will be my car of the auction. This little Fiat, that would definitely be in the top 3, I think. That is just such a little beauty. The Zephyr as well, that kind of appeals. The Austin 7, that's going to go to a real Austin 7 connoisseur. This, I do like, the little AC. I wasn't sure when I just read about it online, but the more I look at it, the more it's very, very late teens, early 20s style is appealing to me, and that might just be a bit of a billy bargain in this particular auction. But if I had to pick just one car, well, who knows? I actually quite like this. Actually, I think that's going to be a bit of a good buy for someone. The Austin 10 Lichfield, that really is a great little car. I like that. So much to choose from. Yeah, so many different things. I'll ask Harley in a minute what is going to be his car of the auction. The Bean, that is super, but I hope it's not too predictable, but I think it's going to have to be this Buick. Not because we've already got a Buick, but if it comes for anything close to its lower estimate of 5-ish, similar money to maybe the Ford Pop or the Morris 8, well, it's just, this is just night and day different. Such a quality thing, especially the styling. I like the earlier styling of the cars. This one, 1926, and it's just, there's just not a bad part of it to look at in my eyes. It's an older restoration, appears to have been done very, very nicely. Like I say, I would just paint in these red bits maybe in black just to tone those down a little bit, but with that done, it's, yeah, it's got my name all over it, and the way the doors open and shut, that is just the icing on the cake. So yeah, I think maybe predictable, but not to worry. That would be my car, my buy of the auction. Yeah, it is great value, but there is so much to see here, whether you like older cars, slightly later classics, maybe one of these SL Mercs. There are quite a few of those here today. So I will hand over to the youthful assistant and ask him what is going to be your choice, young man. So what would be your choice? I'll just give you the microphone.
Thank you.
You can take it away.
My favourite, regardless of price, is the Bean.
The Bean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's just awesome. But that's just, if that could like go through a couple of sales and gradually come down, that'd be very good. That is just a wonderful car, I think. But the best one, and I wasn't expecting to say this actually, the best one that I think is sort of there or thereabouts is the AC. I think that would be so much fun to just like, what's it going to do, 35 or something, but it's just the most fun car.
So, when we came here, you were thinking you'd probably like this or the little Morris 10?
Yeah, I really like those. Those are the sort of the head purchase, if you know what I mean.
Yes, yeah, the sensible.
Yeah.
The sensible buy.
But I love the AC, it's such a funny little thing.
What about the Morris 8?
The 10's the same money and it's got a bigger engine.
So this is the one that you...
That'd be so much fun though. We've got space for that.
Have we?
Yeah. I just think like that'd be so entertaining.
Well, it's certainly proper vintage, isn't it?
And like it's the sort of thing that it's going to be at the lower end, isn't it, of it? Because there's not going to be many people looking at this. So it's going to be what, 3 to 4 or something, I reckon. I think that'd be so much fun. There you go.
There we go. So there we go, folks. That was my choice, the big mighty Buick over the back, and this is Harley's choice, this increasingly appealing little AC Empire. Oh, we like the P4 as well. Okay, I'll let you off there. One classic and one vintage. Yeah, this would be his choice. I can well see why. Maybe with a seat in it. Anyway, so there we go, folks. That was our visit to the June 2026 Brightwells Classic Car Auction Preview. I apologise for the length of this video because I'm sure it's going to be another big one, but hopefully you will find it of interest. Please let me know in the comments which car or cars really appeal to you. It was a real treat to start the video off looking at this great lineup of early MGs, in particular this little PA that we find ourselves an owner of, something very, very similar to this. So yeah, thanks once again. You like that, the TC?
Already got that. But
Yeah, got one of those.
that's supercharged.
But that is supercharged as well. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Please like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't done already, because that really helps the channel to grow. And there'll be loads more videos along very, very soon. So bye for now, and I'm going to head back home now and get this edited up ASAP. Bye for now.